Yay! It finally worked. Let me let everybody know. Thank you for sharing it for me. I appreciate that. Anyway, so tonight I was thinking I wanted to do an update on the Jessica Kent situation because things have taken, in my opinion, kind of a crazy turn. Um, Yay! Awesome. But yeah, I think things have taken a crazy turn, and my biggest question now is, what do we want from her? Because I don't see. Am I laggy by chance, Marissa? I feel like I am. That's just my luck today. But I do feel like accountability isn't happening, so I don't know what we want here. Um, I also don't think she should have to take accountability for things that she hasn't done. And nobody is entitled to any drug test from any person. Nobody is entitled to your medical history, your medications, any of that. I hate that. That sucks. Uh, um, is it really bad? But yeah, that's the big. Hi, Terry. That's the biggest question for me is what would we like out of this situation? Would we like Jessica to make a huge apology for things she might not have done? Do we want her to, I don't know, what is the end goal here? Because I see so much over the past week has happened that honestly, I'm seeing Jessica through a way more sympathetic light because I can't imagine going through what she's going through. I mean, I get it. You're a public content creator. You are fair game. You can be exposed, and I understand those things. But like seeing that she got her paperwork and that it had the 40-year exposure and all those things, it kind of feels like she's proving some things. Yeah, I know. It's so confusing, and it's like it's at the point where you feel like you don't want to question anymore because you feel like you're piling on because there's been so much that's come up. And I do believe that the FOIA requests have been used in the wrong way. I've used FOIA. I think it's a great tool. It's amazing for true crime research. Like when you're researching a case, there's nothing better than FOIA to help you get a better idea of the family, of the person who was ended, the person who did it. It gives you so much information. But I do draw the line at using FOIA to search people's personal information. I just don't think it's okay. I think that it's a huge invasion of privacy. Um, and that's kind of where I am. I want to know what the line is. Where is it that people are going too far with Jessica instead of Jessica was wrong, she lied, she did all this stuff and got all these accolades because she lied. Like when is it going to be enough to stop? And I do believe that Tracy said she's not going to be covering this anymore, which I think is a really good idea. Some of um, the information that she released was I don't stand behind it. And I like Tracy. I think she's great. I think she's a great content creator, and I think she can do so well. I mean, her editing is just chef's kiss. But I just don't think this Jessica Kent thing is working in the way that the people who started the movement wanted it to. I think it's come to a point where people feel sympathy for Jessica because they're like, damn, this is a lot. Like it's a lot. Like I couldn't deal with that. Like it's just looking at it through the lens of yourself. Hi, past. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. And I wanted to talk about Jason's arrest because there was a big thing that happened there that I was just like kind of confused by. Um, but at the same time, I'm not questioning it. But hey, Maz. But when Jason was arrested, you see, she had the I guess ring camera or whatever footage, and you see that there are two or three, I think marshals that picked him up. And the thing that confused me the most is I've been in the car with someone with an active warrant who was going to jail, who they wanted. Period. They wanted them, and we got pulled over and they jerked him out of the car, and I wanted that hug. Like I I understood that so much when she ran up and hugged him. Whether he's her friend, her boyfriend, her acquaintance, it doesn't matter. Like that is such I don't even know how to explain it. It's traumatic because for me, I was younger. I was in my 20s. So it was like the end of the world. Like I'm literally bawling. And I remember I went to hug him and give him a kiss because I knew I wasn't going to see him again for quite a while. And the cop told me no. He was like, back up because I could have been giving him a syringe of fentanyl. I could have been giving him a knife. I could have given him a gun. I could have given him a weapon that would have hurt the officers that were there. So that was the only confusing thing to me was that they allowed her to take his stuff out of his pockets. I will say that they allowed me to keep his wallet. That was like the only thing though. So all of that was a little bit confusing to me, but it did make sense in the end when she said that the federal marshals told him that they didn't know how he was going to act and they were glad that he surrendered peacefully. And that's a very tricky area. There are cops who are harmed every day because they're arresting someone. I mean, and all it takes now is literally one thing, like just a syringe. That's it, and you're done. And it's scary, and I get that. And I felt for Jessica in that moment. I really did, and it doesn't take away all the things because there's still underlying things, the emails, the what she did with Jason in the past. But I can feel that Jessica was hurting in that moment. And I feel her. I feel terrible. I feel so much sympathy because when someone goes to prison like that and you're on the outside, you're in your own homemade prison, if that makes sense. You literally sit by your phone, like, when are they going to call? When am I getting my 15 minutes? Like, it is rough. And I don't know. I'm very interested to see what comes of this. I'm very interested to see what comes of her and Jason's relationship. I'm just very interested to see where it goes. But at the same time, I'm interested to see it from Jessica's lens. And I feel like at this point, accountability is not what we're asking for. We're trying, or not we, but you get what I'm saying. I feel that it's become a deplatforming thing. It's not you're bad, you lied, admit it, take accountability and move on. Because I believe Jessica could come on today and say, I did everything that you guys saw. I don't care. I said what I said. I'm in it. And no one would stop. It wouldn't be like, okay, you took accountability. Great. I just don't believe that. Hey, Melissa. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I am not for deplatforming. I don't think she should be deplatformed because lie or not, the girl is a good storyteller. Like I can just say that straight up. I write and she's a good storyteller. She's amazing at it. I don't think she had to embellish her story, and I don't even know how much is embellished anymore. Like I'm with Marissa, it's so confusing. It's so confusing. I agree, Muzz. I think that she could use a lot of therapy and she could use some time to do some self reflection. I have been that girl that could not be without somebody, if that makes sense. Like in my 20s, I always had to be dating because I based my worth off of my man. And I see a lot of that younger me that not fully developed, not fully realized self in Jessica because I was chasing these guys. I was going after them. I was, bagging them or whatever because that made me feel better. And I, I think that she would do so much better if she stayed in her house with her girls, painted, did whatever the hell she wanted, just alone. Just had some time alone because you have to have that. You have to be okay with being by yourself. And I know that sounds not silly, but almost like common sense. But at the same time, girls do go through a phase where they base their value on their partner, and you can see there was a change from Reese and Jessica to Jason and Jessica. There was a very big change in her behavior, and to me I see that self-reflection of I base my worth on you. Oh, you're in a gang, so I'm the ride or die. You know what I mean? Or oh, you're in corporate America. Okay, let me straighten up. I see a lot of that. I agree with you, Marissa. Like that was she shouldn't have had to do that, and that's what's messed up. Like she shouldn't have had to show the birth certificate. But I don't know what's going to stop the attacks. And it's like I like a lot of the people who are doing the videos. It's just, where does it stop? Exactly. Yes, I agree, Melissa. And that's the thing. Like, you can't tell someone how to get sober. You can't tell them how to manage their sobriety. You can't you can't do any of those things. Like, you can't make someone get sober. Like, that's a very known thing. Everyone in recovery knows, because you've had someone in your life who would not get sober. And that is the thing to me. It's just like, this is, in my opinion, from my shoes, from a former addict, that would have pushed me into a relapse. I can straight up say all of the hate that she has gotten would push me into a relapse, straight up, because it's so heavy. It is so heavy. I've been watching the videos just catch back up, and it's just like, I'm thinking, from her eyes watching them, and it's just like, wow. Yeah, I agree, Muzz. I agree. And I don't like to speculate on mental health, but I do think that therapy would help her. I really do. I smell a mole. Interesting. Name rhymes with yawn. Okay, I'm confused. Um, no, it will make them snap. That's literally what I'm saying. Yes, it's been 6 months. I don't think that people shouldn't be called out for their mistakes, but it's been 6 months. I believe at this point it's gone too far. There's too much time that's elapsed. Like, all of this started, I want to say, like mid-February. So yeah, and most people do lie in addiction. You're 100% right. Lying is second nature, and you become manipulative. You learn those things, and her just saying, I can manipulate people in a video doesn't mean that she is actively doing that, because I can manipulate people. I did it in my active addiction. When you are addicted to a substance, most people literally do anything to get it. And that makes you manipulative in the way that you'll do anything to get it. And I get what she was saying there. And I just think there have been some things that have been overpicked and taken out of context. I think it happens a lot. But with most people, it's, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of calling them out, and then it's over. But with this situation, it just keeps perpetuating. Exactly, Muzz. Nobody can hold her. Accountability is about yourself. It is about saying, hey, I did this and I am sorry and I'm taking accountability. It's not about other people saying, right? But yeah, like, it's not other people saying, you need to take accountability. I mean, there's no, 12-step meeting or celebration recovery meeting or any of that stuff that you're going to go in and find and actually have people say you need to take accountability for everything you've ever done. It is a step. You get there, but nobody makes you go there. You go there yourself, if that makes sense. Alrighty, let's see. Alrighty, we're not attacking people in the chat, so yes, they should. Yeah, I agree, Melissa. Like, her accountability should not make anyone else's. Actually, I didn't realize I can highlight comments. Such an idiot. This is the one I was wanted to show. I agree 100%. Like, you, it's like they need her accountability for them to be okay, and that doesn't make any sense. You cannot base things on that, and you can't keep saying someone's in a relapse and, like, just keep going and hitting. You're in a relapse. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? Like, if you keep hitting someone who has been addicted, who has been in that life, what's the desired effect at that point? No, there is no drama free community. No, unfortunately. Oh, by the way, tomorrow I'm going to have a guest on. I'm really excited. Um, I agree. I agree 100% with this. And like, this is what's crazy. I was on the other side of the field. Like, I actually was like, why did this girl lie? All this stuff. Now it's just, it's become so much that you almost feel, as I said, a sympathetic light toward her. Oh, by the way, I have a guest tomorrow. Instead of her on Thursday, I am going to be having a girl on, one of my friend's daughters, and she did a read for me, a psychic reading, and connected with my grandparents. And honestly, it was like the best. I cried the entire time. I tried to record it and I messed it up, but like that was seriously one of the best moments I've had in years. Like it was just, it was so healing. And we're gonna talk spooky things, no drama, just paranormal stuff. And yes, I agree with this comment. ASPD does not mean you're a sociopath or a psychopath. It means you don't like people. It means that you're antisocial. I don't leave my house a lot. You know what I mean? I'm not super social. So I don't think that that means you're a sociopath or psychopath. I think that's silly. I agree 100% with this. The tactics that have been used against her are not in recovery. And that's the thing. All these people, they keep talking about accountability. But if Jessica came to them and said, guys, I'm relapsed. I'm terribly on meth. I have used up all my money. I don't have anything. Like, can you help me? Would they? That is my biggest question. Would they, or would they laugh in her face? Would they laugh at her for asking for help? And that's the sad part to me, because it's like I wonder if she does need help, but she feels like she has nobody she can go to at all. Because these people keep saying, I would help you, but would you? Or would you laugh at me? Like that is a real fear in addiction, is that people are gonna make fun of you for trying. Like you're you're covering so much. You're trying so hard not to fuck up when you're messed up that it just gives me an icky feeling. And I feel like she can't catch a break almost. I don't think that she knows anyone that could give her help if she needed it. She may in her real life, but no one who's speaking on this subject, I feel like, could help could help Jessica at this point, or would help without judgment. And that's the biggest thing with recovery. You need someone, people, whoever, who aren't judging. You don't need to be judged during that time. It's such a tender time in your life. And if Jessica says she has a relapse, there's not a lot we can do about it other than believe her. And I can't condemn somebody who's saying, okay, this is what I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. Like, I can't condemn you. I'm not there every morning. I don't want you to take your Adderall. I don't want you to do anything. So, how in the world am I going to say you abuse it, or you are messed up, or you do other things? I'm not in on your sex life. I don't know what you do in the bedroom. And it's like there's so many people making assumptions. Hang on. I'm sorry. I got behind. Um, Sorry. I got way behind. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I want to do this one. Yeah, it could be a great opportunity to educate people about the journey of healing, and ignoring it can be dangerous. And it could be a great lesson on recovery. It could be a great lesson on, hey, we all fall down. It doesn't matter if you have 10 years sober. My dad has had, at this point, he got sober at 32 and he's 75, so 40 some years sober. He relapsed 20 years after. And he was ready to just completely and jump off the cliff and just completely be drunk all the time and just not care. And having a loving family and support system around him is the only thing that got my dad sober. I mean, he was already at the point where he had lowered his self worth so much that he was willing to just give it all up, give up a family, give up two kids, give up the wife, give up the picture perfect, everything. And if we hadn't been there for him in that moment, I don't believe he would have gotten sober, period. Are we talking about Jessica there? Because she did make herself a part of the recovery community, and I do feel it is a little hypocritical to say, oh, it doesn't suit me now, I'm out. Yes, like that is unhealthy. That email at the end of that video is so unhealthy. And I feel for the person who wrote it. I have been abused. I've been emotionally manipulated. I've been in the clutches of someone who isn't a good person. Like I get it. I think we throw the word sociopath and psychopath around way too often, but I have been with someone like that. And like I could relate to that email, but like revenge on Jessica should not be the salvation you are looking for. That's all I will say on that. Like I just don't believe that is salvation. That is healing you. That I didn't get that part. I think I think Nicole would. But at this point I do question because Nicole has such a personal stake in it and I do not blame her. Her channel and all that, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know that Jessica got it deleted. I can't say that. But if that is what she believes and she feels she has proof, I'm not going to question that. That is a terrible thing to happen to somebody. I couldn't imagine losing something that you have spent so much time building. And that's rough. But I do wonder if she would kind of laugh like, oh, now you need help. You know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, I really like Nicole. I think that she does try to help people. And I do think she would help Jessica. I do have that question in the back of my head. That's like, is Jessica afraid to reach out for help because she doesn't feel like she's going to get help without judgment? And that's so important in early recovery, especially after a relapse. Because it is a lot about your self-worth. Your self-worth lowers when you get into a relapse and you're like, oh, okay, I'm at rock bottom, let's see how far we can go, baby. Like that shows that. Yeah, I'm with you, Maz. I can see both sides, and that's the hardest part because I can have sympathy for Jessica and I can see everyone else's side too, and I'm not on either side anymore. Like I was on one side, but I hope Jessica gets the help she needs, but I also hope that everybody else moves on and, does their content. I think that Nicole is amazing at recovery content. Um, I think that Tracy is an amazing editor. I think she could do some amazing true crime stories or just regular pop culture stories, whatever. But I just think at this point, record requests, all that stuff, like it's gone a little far. I originally followed Jessica Visit. The one thing that I do wonder about Jessica is the empathy part. I see her lives and her TikToks are so different from her YouTube content. And she seems to project very nice and very empathetic and compassionate. But I don't see the same on TikTok or in her lives. And I don't know. I unfollowed her because her channel to me got stale. I'm not trying to be mean, but that was why I unfollowed. And then this situation happened. And it was just like, wow. And I think she could do a million other things. I really do. I think the girl is a great storyteller. So I think she could do a million other things. She doesn't have to do this. She could exit the recovery community. I don't think that anyone is going to let her go. Buster. I don't think anybody is going to let her go, if that makes sense, in the recovery community without some kind of apology. And that's the thing. Do you want her to get a gray hoodie and sit down and cry and say, I'm sorry and not mean it? Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're asking and you're pounding for an apology, you're probably going to get one that's fake. Yeah, they wanted to prove she was lying, and they did. Um, I agree, and yeah, it's becoming an anti KJ community. Like there's so many people making videos at this point. It's become a community like that, and that community was toxic. Sorry, I'm behind, guys. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, she would constantly like, or she would shift the topic, like she would start talking about it, and then she would shift to something else, and it's smooth. I'm not gonna lie, that girl is smooth and slick. She can switch to stuff, and you go right with her because you don't realize it. So I definitely think that you're right. Like, I don't like. I think that the whole Reese stuff and everything that's going on with that, I'm not questioning anything about that because I feel like at the end of the day, no matter what, they probably went through something awful, both of them. But I do not believe she should be sharing parts of that on the internet the call with Jason, where he is out, the FaceTime that was recorded from his friend Matt that went to Reese's door at 1 a.m. Jason is on the FaceTime yelling, call cops, call cops. Like, I get why Reese was mad. I understand. And it's like, I feel like if she stopped that, I feel like Peter Ron. If you just stop talking about this stuff, it will go away. But she won't stop. And I'm like, at this point, I feel like the two sides are feeding each other, if that makes sense. Like Jessica's dropping little tidbits, and then everybody else is picking them up and dissecting them. And I do wonder at some point, is it because she likes it? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, that's true. I mean, my sister has BPD, and the unfortunate thing with her is that she will believe her lies. Like she will make an entire situation in her head and believe it 100%. So there are mental disorders that you can have where you believe what you're saying, whether it's true or not. And that's the scary part because that's where you get into delusion and not knowing exactly what's real. And I feel like living online and having an online presence, you have to have an outside life as well. And I think she does. I think she has a good outside life. I think I don't think she's a bad mom, period. I don't think that should have ever been brought up. I don't think anything about the kids should have ever been brought up. But I think that she does watch all the videos on her. I actually do. Um, I would. Like, I'm sitting here and saying that, but I would. I would watch every video on myself because it's about you. Yeah, the delusions of grandeur, I definitely see. I definitely see that, Muzz. Yeah, it did. I think that a lot of people wanted to stick up for Mindy because Mindy was wronged by her. At the end of the day, what happened to Mindy was wrong. And everybody calls her Mandy in like almost all the videos. It's hilarious. I'm always like, I always laugh when that happens. I agree with Shonda. Oh, Shonda Sue. Sue's my middle name too. Uh, yeah, the high school stuff, I totally see that. Exactly. And they do have points, but at this point, you look like the bully. I hate to say it, but you look like the bully because you keep coming. And honestly, if you've ever heard the saying about it's like a superhero saying, but my husband says it to me all the time. If you live long enough, if you're the hero and you live long enough, you will become the villain. And that's kind of true. You're the villain in somebody's story, period. Doesn't matter who you are or what you do, you're the villain in somebody's story, period. And that can be a hard thing to reckon with. No, Mudge, you're good. I appreciate it. I mean, you're welcome to hop on. I was going to drop the link in a few seconds if you want and send it to you on Instagram. Or Marissa, you're welcome too. I know anybody's welcome. If you'd like to come up, just say I would, and I'll send you a link on Instagram. Let's see this. Yes, this was weird. Oh, show it. Okay, it was weird when she did the Reese videos. But did you see the numbers on those videos? They had like 200K. And if you go back and you look at like say a true crime video, it has like 20. So I can see why she did it, but do I agree with the morality of it? No. I agree. I agree. I believe that Jessica seriously screwed up at one point, and I think that she had people around that she shouldn't have, was doing things that she shouldn't have. But I think she has been exposed to a point where she can't be doing that anymore. Like if she has any involvement with CPS, they are drug testing her. So it was valid to start with, and I would check the snark group, but I've seen people exiting the snark group because it's so toxic, and it's like at that point, it's like that's when I tap out. Like I tapped out of the snark group. Actually, my entire Reddit account got banned, and I haven't even posted on there. So I don't get that. I don't know if I got banned because I'm in that snark group or what. But it was very weird. But I checked out of that probably 2 weeks ago. They have great points, and they bring them up, and they show evidence and all that stuff. But they're also very spiteful, and there are a lot of messages on there that are just hateful, and I don't like that. Yes, I saw that. Melissa. Oh, come on, show. I saw that, and that was telling. And maybe it was just the stress. Like she said, she has stress with this situation. I'm sorry, my husband was going to bed and the dogs are going crazy. But she has said that she's tired. She doesn't want to do this anymore. And I almost wonder if she feels pressured because her audience is interested in this. I just wonder. Have you noticed, out of curiosity, Marissa, have you noticed that she is still, or her Jelly Pop, whoever runs stuff, on shorts on YouTube and on Facebook, like all the time, videos of her and Reese happy pop up. Like one popped up today and it was some kid and they were doing like a duet and the kid was saying, I don't care about your boyfriend, I still want you or something. And it was her and Reese and it was super cute. But it was like, why do you still have that up? Like I get it, you can't delete the views, but I don't know. Hi Mimi. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I as a subscriber of hers, I'm ready to move on with it. Like, I want her to do content that isn't this. Like, I want her to branch out. She is such a good storyteller. Like, she really does have it. And it's not something you can make up. You can't just fake the funk on that stuff. Like, you actually have to be able to tell the story. And part of that is embellishment. Part of that is talking about the color of the walls and how the floor felt on your feet and how the wind felt on your face. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of weaving things together. And I see that she has a real talent for that. And I wish she would do something with that. What are you doing, hun? That's loud. What are you doing? Oh, okay. I just couldn't figure out what you were doing. Yeah, I worry about that, Marissa, because if she can't handle that, like you get that on the internet, period. Like I got that before I even had a channel. So it's like I can't imagine saying I want to go forward with this and do this. And it's obvious she's edited before. So I feel like she knows about YouTube. So it's really hard for me to understand how you would start a channel, be as good as you are at it, but not be able to take any criticism. And I do. I think a lot of it has to do with exhaustion from the topic. I think that's 100%. Those kids being in that house when he was arrested was extremely dangerous and not smart. I don't know why she had him over there while the kids were in the house. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Bye, Muzz. No, no parent is perfect and no families are perfect. And the thing is, people are so blindsided that they think, oh, let me call DSS. That'll be great. Then, they'll go investigate. And if the kids are in danger, they'll take them out of their home. Do you realize how many DSS cases a year go south? How many good parents lose their children or children go from maybe not a home that's the best, but a home that they're happy in and they're loved in and they go into a foster home and something bad happens to them. That happens all the time. And I do believe Jessica made some mistakes, but I do believe her children are safe with her. Like I do. Now I do believe the arrest was a big mistake. Showing that and telling the kids were there, big mistake. But if her children love her, and it seems they do, and she loves them, and she takes care of them, she feeds them, she clothes them, she makes sure their homework is done, gives them baths, all that stuff, like I don't see the point for a DSS case or for anyone on the internet to critically judge someone so hard that they call DSS on them. It makes no sense to me. I don't think anybody can look through a screen and see abuse unless the situation is like Daddy 05, unless it's physical. Like I've seen some mental manipulation stuff, but it's like there has to be a lot of calls for me to want to say call DSS because I think see something, say something, but I also think see something real. Don't see something that you're making into a bigger thing than what it is. Yeah, we're not mental health professionals. And so many people, oh, sorry, wrong one. Yeah, we're not mental health professionals. And there are a lot of people diagnosing her through social media. And that is dangerous. To me, that is extremely dangerous because if you deal with any kind of questioning of your reality, that's going to make you question your reality. So I feel like some of the tactics that have been used are almost like counterintuitive. Like if the things you're saying are wrong with her, how are you helping? Are you making it worse? You know what I mean? Yeah, most I agree, Chelsea. Most snarks, they're good for like 2 months and then they get totally toxic. I agree 100%. I agree 1,000,000,000% with that, Marissa. Like, I agree so much because why? Like, if you get better from that, like relapses happen, and if you get better and you are capable of taking care of your child, or you have another sober parent in the home who is capable of taking care of the child, you know what I mean? I don't get it, and it's like I don't believe she's still relapsing. I believe that she relapsed in February or whenever this started, when Mindy was there and all that stuff was going on. I do believe Jessica went through a relapse. Period. But I don't know. I just don't think she has been or is in a relapse now. And it is no one's place to judge her recovery. She is allowed to recover however she wants. She has the affiliate link with Groups Recover. So I do feel like if she needed recovery help, she has it. And we are not entitled for her to come on and say, I relapsed on February 2nd. And this is what I was, doing the dirty. And well, she doesn't owe that to anybody. And I feel a lot of people are like pounding at the door saying, okay, bring it. And I don't know. It's just a lot of entitlement. I see entitlement in some other people's to things they're not entitled to. Hi, Fash Fab Beauty. Yes. No, I agree with you 100%. Like, mental health is so tricky. And it's like there's so much hate going toward her right now. It's very, very, it's scary for me. I couldn't imagine that amount of hate. And that's why I say it's turned the tide and made Jessica this more sympathetic figure and not the villain. And I don't know. It's just a very stark turn, and it happened so fast. If that makes sense, like that live completely turned me. I don't know if the live turned you guys. Put a one or say it did. Like that live with Tracy was where I was like, oh, this is too much. Like this is way too much. Yes, Chelsea, I totally agree with that. Diagnosing over the internet is so annoying, especially calling Jessica a sociopath. You cannot be diagnosed as a sociopath or psychopath. It's not an actual diagnosis. Exactly. You can have traits, you can do things like that, but you're right. It can't be diagnosed. And the ADHD thing, ADHD presents so different in women. And I'm so over people saying things like you can't take Adderall if you've been in addiction. Well, I was addicted. I was addicted to painkillers. They were my thing. And I was put on Adderall 2 years ago. Doesn't mean I didn't have a conversation with my husband about it and say, hey, do you think this would be okay? Had a conversation with my parents about it. I mean, I talked to my doctor a lot about it. But at the end of the day, my ADHD was so bad and my symptoms were so just out of control that I got to a point where I got Adderall from my doctor and I tried it and it wasn't for me. But that's Jessica's choice. She's allowed to choose Adderall. And if it works for her, great. That's so amazing because I have untreated ADHD and it sucks. Nothing works for me. And I don't know. It sucks. I don't think that anybody should be telling people what kind of medication they can take. Like and judging the I'm trying to think how to say this. Judging how you're recovering. Like that's no one's place. No one is the recovering master. No, I totally get that, Marissa. Like when I was in active addiction, I didn't have my child, but I can tell you right now, I always had a job. I always had a car. I always had my own place. I had my stuff together. I was a functioning addict. And there are plenty of people like that. Like there are plenty of people who I mean, it's like this. If you go home and you drink, let's say 6 beers a night, and that's your thing, and you relax. You drink them from say 6 p.m. till midnight. You have one an hour. And then you go to bed and you get up and you do it the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. If it doesn't turn into 7, 8, 9, 10, are you just relaxing or are you an alcoholic? You know what I mean? And a lot of that comes down whether you can stop or not. But Oh, Marissa, I totally get this. Dude, I was a server when I was doing that and on my bank. It made me way more comfortable, if that makes sense. It made me comfortable in my skin and made me feel like I was okay and I was doing a good job and I was on top of everything. And I'm sure I was like, I probably looked like a sketched out raccoon, but oh, hey, girls. When the live turned me, though, the live turned me, I was already sketched out. Did you know that Tracy literally had just no? Are you serious? And Jessica has mentioned, like, could they steal her identity to get these papers? If you have that, the one thing that you said there, you can steal somebody's identity. Like, they could easily request these documents to say they're her. Like, that's the part where it's getting scary to me. If you have to question if people are stealing your identity, that's questionable. Hey, girls. But I completely agree, especially with, whoops. Yeah, I've known people like that. I've known people. My dad's like that. Like he has always wanted one drink, but he can't have one drink because then it's one drink today, one drink tomorrow, rest of the week. The next week it's five. It's a lot, and not being able to manage it is hard. Oh my god, that is nuts. That's crazy. That's really concerning. Years ago, when I was in active addiction, it helped my social anxiety, and that's why I even started having a problem with opiates. I was self medicating. Exactly. It numbs your feelings. Like you feel shy, embarrassed, whatever it may be. And it numbs that. And I don't even know how to explain the feeling because it's like it just almost makes you automatically better. And I'm glad I'm sober now. And there's so many things in my life I'm more happy about. And at first for me, it was like it made me super server or super bartender or whatever. But then it got to the point where it was like, I can't go to work without one of these. I can't get up without one of these. And that is the hardest place to find yourself. And I don't wish it on anybody. Never, ever. Because that is the hardest thing I've ever went through. It was hardest physically, mentally, everything. I mean, my brain was not good for like a year after I got sober. It took me so much time just to get regular again. Yeah, I can't believe that about the SSN. That's terrible. That's really bad. Oh, congratulations to your mom, Curls. That's awesome. I think you were telling me about the Bachelorette. Yeah, like that's really concerning because Jessica isn't destitute. I'm sure her credit isn't bad. I mean, she has a high income. So someone could use that for serious nefarious purposes. And who would that fall back on? Would it fall back on the person who requested the documents? Person who released the documents? Who all would be caught up in that if someone stole her identity and stole a bunch of money? Just throwing that out there because that is a reality. How can we help to stop this? Who? Um, I really think, and that's such a tricky question. Really is because I don't hate the people in that community. I actually really like them. I don't hate Tracy. I think she's decent. Like I think I said, I think she's a great editor. I haven't really had a lot of one-on-ones with her, so I can't say she's a good person or whatever. But I do believe she's a great editor, and I think she's really good at what she does. But I think a slip up like that, especially with the SSN, could could be a downfall. That's really bad. Um, and some of the other information she shared in that live was really bad. And I don't know. I just think she's been affected by the content. And I think that she just needs to move on. And with Nicole, I do get why she is peeved. I'd be peeved if someone took my channel. But at this point, you're growing again. I part of me understands it so much because she can't monetize that channel. She can't do anything. She lost her monetization. And that is this taking food out of her kid's mouth. And if Jessica was behind that, she's real shitty for that. But I do believe, oh no, I froze. But I do believe that we all need to have rock hard proof that Nicole's channel was deleted by Jessica because Jessica is saying it had nothing to do with her. Now someone's come out with DMs from Nicole that are saying, Miss Ashy Cat's fans did it. And then Nicole is saying that just did it. So I just think it's something that at this point it's almost moot because so much other stuff has happened. It doesn't matter. Yeah, there are lasting effects for a really, really long time. And the fact that Justice went through that, like, I really related with some of those early videos that she did, like when she was talking about like drying out in a hotel room for Mag Crew. I really related to that because I've done it a hundred times. And that was what drew me to her. It wasn't empathy. It wasn't the allure of her being some kingpin. It was I have been the girl in the hotel room drying out and trying to get better and just wanting to do better and not wanting to live this life anymore. Like I've been there and I have been that person and I could just relate. I could just see it for that. No, I agree, Curls. It is not a joke. And if it happened, it really makes me wonder if the people who requested the documents and showed the documents would be in any way responsible for that happening to her. I mean, I definitely think if she took a small claims court, civil court suit against them, it would be. But I wonder legally if it would be any way tied to them. I don't know. I've seen one apology from Tracy, and that was like a few weeks ago when she had released another piece of the CI paperwork, I think. And I don't know if she's apologized for this. I do think I saw a community post or something that said she wasn't going to cover Jessica anymore. She was done. Fort Smith did screw it up. Yeah, they really did. And I really wonder, like, there are I've done FOIA, and there are things that are coming out of these FOIA requests that I've never seen. Now, granted, if you had a media pass, you may be able to get these things, but how do you have a media pass? You know what I mean? And I agree with the videos that are being made that are saying, if she's telling these places that she's calling to make an exposed video, they're not going to give her this stuff. So it's all a little bit fishy. Oh no. Okay, there they are. Lost my comments for a second. What do you mean, Bash Fab? You like them, but it's going to take the at form to stop the content. I think you just made a typo, but I can't figure it out. But I think that it should stop. I think that it should be a choice. I think it should be something where everybody sits down and says, "Hey, we've been trying to get this girl to take accountability for lying, for being on drugs, whatever. She's not gonna." Like that's where I am. She is not going to take accountability. So why are we still writing it like this? It's so silly in a way. It's like, you can't make somebody take accountability. And I see so many people trying that, and I just don't get it. Oh, wow. Sorry, I got behind on comments. By the way, if anybody wants to come up, just send me a message on Instagram and I'll send you the link. Make sure it has. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. I agree, but there are lives that get done where she brings her up again. And like I don't think it's intentional. I don't think it's to bash. I don't think it's something where it's like, oh, today I'm gonna go and I'm gonna fuss about Jessica. I think that she truly is passionate about it. And I think that she has a reason for it. And I feel bad for her. I do. Because she was personally affected by this. And I think that a lot of people rode so hard because they could understand, like, shit, my YouTube channel went down. What would I do? Like, I think a lot of people rode with her because they were like, that's wrong. That is wrong, wrong. No, I can't either. And oh god, it kills me. I don't think they should be questioning that story. Your birth story is your birth story. Period. Like when I had my daughter, I had a C-section, and when she was breached and when she came out, she wasn't breathing. So the doctor, literally a minute immediately after birth, goes code blue, and they take my baby, and those 5 seconds were the longest 5 seconds of my life. And she was a preemie, so she had to go to the NICU for a little while. And I can say that experience was one of the hardest things I've ever been through. So I can't imagine that oxytocin that you get from having a baby and that feeling of I am so happy I can't contain it, to here's my baby, I'm going back to prison. Like, I don't wish that on anybody. And I think it's horrible that happened to Jessica. I don't care if she was chained. I don't. I don't care if she was chained. 2 days and she had to give her baby away. That's awful. It's awful for any woman. And it's sad. I don't think we will ever know if JK is showing the police section and calling out for no. I agree 100%. And I do find it extremely fishy that she posted that video 30 days after her account was deleted. Like, some of the stuff that I see Jessica doing to fight back is so underhanded. Like that. Like, that was unnecessary. And she went back out and clipped it. And it's like, I get where she's coming from, though. She clipped it. What do you want her to do? You know? Now, granted, I do think that her stands may have went after Nicole's channel. But if they did, unless you have a dead set screenshot of Jessica Kent saying, please go report her channel for drugs, for this, for that, there's not what you can prove. And I just feel like at this point, it's out of the video. She's not going to apologize. It's not going to happen. She's not going to take accountability. She's not going to do any of those things. So, as adults in this situation, everybody just needs to move forward because if we don't, we're stuck in this, I think Fab Fashion said earlier, just this tit for tat, you know, child's play. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. It's so crazy that it's the JK community and the other toxic community was the KJ community. To me, that's just oh man, that's see that sucks. Like I feel bad for her in that, but like you're an editor and you if you were showing documents, you really need to make sure that shit is redacted. I agree. I don't believe there should be anyone bullying anyone on the platform. I believe it is wrong. Very, very wrong. And I see a lot of both. I see constructive criticism, but I also see it being overdone. And then I see people are straight up bullying. They don't care. And I mean, I was going through the Reddit the other day. It's been a few weeks ago, but I saw messages from somebody, and they were talking about all this information they had and how people would be just so shocked when they saw it. And it's like, why does it matter? Like, why does it matter that much? Like at this point, I feel like they would pick her apart for running a stop sign. Yes, I agree. And B's videos, I actually really enjoy because she's empathetic. She's not yelling or mad or demanding. And that's something that I see a lot with this JK stuff is the demand for things. And no one you can't demand anyone's attention. I agree. I don't think that she's not what's it called? She's not impervious to commentary about her. But this drama is way too deep. It doesn't matter. A lot of it doesn't matter. And it's like, yes, she lied. That's awful. But she ain't gonna take accountability for it. And her friends are writing for her. So that makes me wonder if there is something that we don't know. Because I actually do believe Larry Lawton is the real deal. And I have respect for him. And he is writing for Jessica. So that does make me question whether there are things that we don't know about her. Yeah. Hmm. She was she said she was rapid firing questions. And granted, I wasn't there. I'm taking third party information. But she said she was rapid firing questions at Jessica and Jason when they came into the chat and Tracy's chat. That's going to immediately make you feel not welcome. You know what I mean? Like if somebody's like, "Well, are you doing drugs? Are you taking care of your kid?" Like you're immediately going to be like, "Well, F you." I mean, I get that. Like I get that feeling. Yes, the doxing is insane. And I don't get why it's okay. I just don't understand why it is okay. Because no one should be doxing anyone. Don't be releasing any documents with addresses. And I get where Tracy was thinking that it's been 10 years. Who's still living in the same place? But I've lived in the same house for 12 years. I'm just now thinking of getting out of here. So it's like lots of people live in houses for a long time. See, I keep hearing this too, but I've never seen the receipts, and I just want to know where they are. That's the biggest question for me. Is like, if you have the proof, why haven't you posted it? Like, why can't you just do a community post and say, here is the screenshot where Jessica said delete my channel? Oh, Wildflowers are really good. I love how empathetic she can be, and how I think her interview with Mindy was really good. I don't think that it was attacking, and I did see Jessica trying to interact with Wildflower and then calling her drama channel and like just being rude about it. And it's like that was unnecessary because I don't believe Wildflower ever overstepped bounds. It's almost like everything from like March till June, July was okay. And then all these videos started coming out that were doxing and they were proving things. And I think that was important, but they were also doxing people and they were also going real life, and I don't like that. Like I am a big proponent of not going real life on the internet. You don't know people, you don't know their struggles, you don't know what they may be going through. So I am a big proponent of not ever going real life on the internet. I actually watched her Jessica videos and I like some of them, but I also felt like that was like riding the train, the money train. Does that make sense? Like I saw the views on that and it's like, okay, I see what's up. Yeah. I mean, I think that she has leaked some stuff that could get her in serious trouble, and I think that she needs to reevaluate. Like that is where I am with Tracy. I do think she's a good editor, but I think with this Jessica stuff, if someone steals her identity, that is going to fall back on Tracy because she let that information out. And I think that there's been a lot of information leaked through her, especially through that website. That was one thing that I'm just not cool with. Like she posted all the paperwork on that website. Like I was not okay with that, and yeah, I hope I'm not giving her too much credit. I'm trying to be fair because I do like her and I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's decent. I just think that this entire situation has blackened hearts. Like I truly believe that. Like there are people I think that were maybe on the fence or thought Jessica was lying, or maybe were a fan and they loved her and thought she told the truth about everything and they found out she wasn't. And I can get that betrayal feeling, but I also don't think that it ever should have went this far. You're not, as a fan, entitled to more of a creator just because you think you are. Yeah, I was in there at one point and I saw her post a few times, but she would just be like, "Hey guys, how's your day?" Like it was never anything crazy. I never saw her ever mention Nicole. I saw other people mention Nicole, but never saw Jessica directly mention Nicole. But again, I wasn't in it very long, so I don't know. Yes, like she uses it as a put down, and it's like you're a prison YouTuber. Like, come on, girl. Like, come on. I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like there's a lot of I'm better than you. My recovery is better than yours. My life is better than yours. I'm happier than you. I have more money than you from both sides. Like this isn't just, the anti JK community. I believe it's JK herself. There's a lot of you're jealous of me and other people saying, "No, I'm happy with my life. I just think you're messed up." So I don't see a resolution happening. I really, really don't. I think there could have been one at one point. I really, really, really do. But at this point, why would Jessica ever talk to Nicole or Mindy again? Why would she ever talk to Tracy? Why would she ever talk to anybody else? Like, I get it. I do. And like, I was let down because I actually believed all her stories were true. I knew they were embellished. I thought they were true. And then what's been exposed, you're questioning everything. You can't tell anything is true. And that's difficult. Like, because as a fan, you're just like, if I wanted a fake storytelling, go watch Tana Mojo. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a little overkill. Like, what are you trying to do here? Like, a website just dedicated to one person? And like, I think she has such a good idea. That's the thing. I think she has such a good idea with the seeking truth and all that. But I don't know, man. It's just, it's very, I don't want to say stalkerish. I don't want to use that word, but it is very obsessive. That's the word I'm looking for. All the paperwork dragging, all the reading of it, all the posting of it, the website, all that stuff is very, very obsessive behavior. And it just makes me question where the mental health of the JK community is, because I can't imagine you're super happy if you're doing all this. Exactly. They mock her. Like if she says, "Hey, here's my paperwork from New York. I was there for this many days." They're just like, "Oh, you're still lying. You're still high." And it's like it's very annoying. It's very annoying. And I think that Jessica did bring a lot of this on herself. She was very open about her life. She also judged and criticized others. She talked about Digital Princess, and what Digital Princess did was awful. But just because someone shares their life, you are not entitled to anything. Like that's the thing. I don't know if people get that in this situation. You're not entitled to anything from Jessica. She could disappear tomorrow and never speak to another one of her fans again, and that's okay. That's just what happened. I mean, look at Jenna Marbles. Jenna Marbles left the internet, and that's what I feel like the goal has become. I feel like the goalpost shifted from give us accountability to deplatforming. And that's where I can't stand behind it because I don't believe in deplatforming, especially when you don't have, when all you have is, oh, she embellished her stories. At the end of the day, she was a storyteller. Like, I get it, but Tana Mojo did the same thing. The backlash wasn't like this. And I understand the part where people are like, I've actually done time and I actually have a story that matters, and you are taking away from that. I get that. And that is very valid in this situation, but there's not much we can do. We can't make Jessica take accountability. We can't make her do anything, and we're not entitled to it. Yeah, I do not like the fact that there's a website. It's just very odd to me and very, I don't know. That was one of the things where I was like, yeah, I know. I am too. I heard that she released something on her Patreon. And I will say, like, one thing that I thought was messed up was I saw someone and they were like, "Yeah, you could just go post it and like so other people can see it." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 that's behind a paywall. Like that's not okay." And I do see a lot of that, like people encouraging people to do bad things because it's against Jessica, and it's like that's not okay. Exactly. And it's like you keep saying she has a victim complex. Well, you just gave it to her. You just gave her the victim card because you won't stop. And because you're going so far. I agree. I think that we should watch it with an open mind, open heart, and just back the judgment down. Like I, for everybody who's ever been in an active addiction, can you imagine if you were relapsed and you had the entire internet coming down your neck? Just you're high, you're messed up, you're a bad mom. Like I cannot imagine, and I feel bad for her for the things I've seen said and the things that I have seen people do. And I even feel bad for participating in it at this point. And it has. It just turned into a very, very toxic thing. And I don't hate anybody in the community. I don't think they're awful. I just, my opinion is my opinion, and this is it. And I know this is probably the unpopular opinion, But that's kind of where I stand with it. I've seen too much from both sides, and I just feel like Jessica's trying. And I don't think she's a bad mom, and I don't think she's doing anything too crazy. I do think that she's had questionable people around her children, but we're not. We're not her mother. We're not her parole officer. We're nobody. We're not allowed to say who she can have around her kids and who she can't. So I love this. Like, that is exactly 100% how I feel. Are you serious? Oh my god. Like, can't she make like take action against that because it's a paywall thing? Yeah, it goes against copyright law because it's behind a paywall. And like the justification I heard at one point was, well, Jessica or Trisha Paytas's nudes got leaked. That wasn't okay either. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm hearing justifications of things that were not okay in the first place. I mean, that's the biggest thing, I think. When you're going behind paywalls and you're leaking that kind of stuff, like, it's not right. It's not fair. It's not good to do to anybody. And I'm sure that she knew that it was going to happen, but at the same time, no one deserves this. No one does. Like, she's become a laughing stock, and that's really sad. Do I think she's contributed to it herself? Yes. Do I think she deserves it at this point to the degree that she's getting it? No. I know my pupils are like they're always huge. Like, you can barely see a little gray ring around my buddy. It's just daddy. But my buckle is like so protective. Like, my husband comes in here and he just starts barking. But come here, buddy. You sit with me. Come on. But yeah, I your pupils are a very, very bad test on if you're sober, if you're not. Like, it's a bad test on whether you're doing good or not. Like, I don't agree with that. Like, and I do agree with Jessica. No one is entitled to her urine or her blood. Like, no one is. And it's insane to me because it seems like there are a lot of like incident reports that they were able to get that had turned into CPS reports, and it's like I didn't think you could get that stuff. I really didn't. I thought the only person that was allowed to get that stuff was the child after they turned 18. Like, I didn't think you could just request it. I mean, people are talking about how they could go down to the courthouse in Chicago and request her CPS reports, and I don't believe that's true. Just as a person that has lived 36 years, I don't believe that's true. Hi, buddy. But I think that that's all I have to say on that. I wanted to pop on and I wanted to talk about it because I feel that there's so much more that could be added to the situation, but I don't believe there is any space to add it. I think that it's something where opinions are going to have to be made and set in stone. Like, you're either going to have to decide you don't care or you care so much that you're going to run it into the ground. And that's just that with Jessica. Like, I don't wish her ill will. I hope that she is well. I hope that she is sober. Truly, I do. But at this point, I don't believe that anything that anyone from the internet does is ever going to make her stop doing what she's doing or start doing something different. There's no one on the internet, in my opinion, that could sway her in that way. So I think at this point, girls went through a lot. Like, losing somebody to prison is like losing them. Like, it feels like a loss, like life. Like, because usually the first few days they can't call. Like, there's so many different things, and it's just like, yes, she rode for him for 10 years, but it, it's a really hard thing to go through. Like, I actually stayed with my ex for 9 months while he was in jail. And it was a mini prison for myself. I couldn't go out, I couldn't date, I couldn't do anything. It sucked. It was awful. I spent a lot of time alone, and I don't know, it was just really difficult. And I do feel for her there, whether Jason is good for her or not. I know there is love for that man and her, whether it's friendly love or affectionate love. We don't know, and we're not entitled to it. Hey, Steph, but yeah, I feel for her with that situation. I can't imagine, and she does strike me like she is one of those people who needs someone constantly. So I don't know. I, I feel empathy for her. Like it is literally went from the point where criticism was necessary to I have a lot of empathy for this person and I hope that they get better. Like there's nothing more that I want for Jessica than to be well. Like I don't want anybody to be unwell. Yes, why release that call? Why? He could have had valid concerns. He could have had a valid reason for doing it. Like why release it? It makes no sense. Like when going through FOIA and you're going through all these documents, you get a lot of unnecessary stuff. And that was an unnecessary thing or something that maybe you just talk about. You don't release the whole call. It just made no sense to me like that. It just got too personal, if that makes sense. But that's where I stand on her. I wish her well. I hope she does well. I wish Nicole and I wish Tracy well. I truly do. I hope that they do well. And I hope that Tracy, uses her skills to make a great channel because I think she can. I think that she has the skills. I just don't think that going after internet figures is something that should be on her radar because she has real skills with this FOIA stuff. And she could do a lot of meaningful work with true crime or stuff like that. Even not even true crime, just like maybe crime in general, like mob stuff. She could do a lot with that. And I truly hope she does. Or uncovering stuff like Jimmy Hoffa. Like there are so many different like conspiracies that you could go down the rabbit hole of. But this one, I think we're at the bottom. I think this is rock bottom, and I just don't think that it's gonna go anywhere else. Sorry, Steph, by the way. I sent you that video and realized I didn't send it to my story, and I was just like, oh, where do I show this? No, this one. Exactly. You cannot demand that somebody tell you, hey, I relapsed, or hey, you can't demand that. You're not her sponsor. Exactly. Like they're saying, everybody is saying it's just a relapse. It's a small thing. You can get over it. They're talking about it with the right words, if that makes sense. They're using recovery language when they talk about it, and they are saying the right things. It isn't the end of the world. You can get better. You can do this. You can get back up. You can quit, and you will be fine. You'll be a good mother. You'll be a good person. You'll be everything. But sometimes the message is correct, but the messenger is wrong. And that is the situation I feel like we are in right now. I do feel like I like Nicole, but I feel like she is way too close to the situation. I feel like she's so close that if she stepped back a few steps, she could see it for what it is. But she's just so close. I don't see that happening. I wish it would. I really wish it would because I don't like to see creators that I like having beef or whatever. But at the same, everybody likes a little tea. Everybody likes a little drama, and like I really liked Nicole at first. It was funny. I think she's a funny girl. I think she's a good storyteller as well. But I also see some things that I'm like going to the bathroom on stream, stuff like that. Like that's just stuff you don't do. Like I try my best when I'm on stream not to get up, not to move around, because at the end of the day, I want it to look semi-professional. And going to the bathroom on stream, it was funny. I laughed, but I do feel that there are other people who would take that clip and say, "Hey, look," you know what I mean? I also feel like she doesn't care as much. I haven't. You care to send it to me again? I'm sorry. I haven't had a chance. I'm doing another this Thursday I'm going to do a paranormal. Episode, I'm going to have someone who she's a psychic. She did a reading for me. She's amazing. So we're gonna have a paranormal scary story time tomorrow. But next Thursday, I'm doing another true crime. So if you'll send me that case, I'll research it and we can do that next Thursday. Exactly. Like that's what she needs. She needs people to say, "Listen, Jessica, I don't know if you've relapsed. I don't know if you're sober, but if you need a hand with anything, I'm here." And I don't see that anywhere. I don't see any support for her. And God, does anybody like? I just wonder if anybody thinks about how scary it would be to get on camera in front of a million people and knowing that some of them hate you and say, I've been doing the goat fast. I like it. I relapsed. I've been sober for 2 months. Do you know how hard that is? Like, I get why she may not want to. I understand if she didn't, her standing on that and saying, I did not relapse. But the texts are very clear. I think that she had a relapse. I think she's good. I just think that at the end of the day, too much has been said. Let me write that down. Oh, crap. I just said I don't get up, and I'm going to grab a notebook instead. Spirit. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Exactly, Melissa. Exactly. Like if she admitted to doing it, then everyone would call CPS on her from the internet. And it's like that part I can't get behind. Like no one knows anyone on the internet enough to call CPS unless you're literally seeing them hit their child. Like that's where it would have to be for me. Because it's such a serious thing. Okay, Junko Furuta. Do you know where that case is originated from? Is it in the US or is it abroad? Yeah, she's in a lose lose situation. She can't win. Like she literally can't. And I feel like that is why she's playing into it at this point. I think she's like, I can't win, so why not play along? Like I get it at this point. She's getting views off the drama. She's been embroiled in it for so long. I do believe that if she had stopped sharing her personal life months ago, she would not be in this situation. But either way, it doesn't matter that she shares her personal life. She's done that for years. So she is. She's in a lose lose situation. She can't win. If she does admit to it and she makes, let's say 10 people happy, she's going to have to go. CPS is going to be called. She has a million subscribers. It's not like she has five. So it's a hard call. It really is. Agreed. Agreed. I believe that she cares for those kids. She got Micah back, and that to me is another reason I followed her because the things that you have to do to get your child back from CBS is insane. And the fact that she was able to do all that and get it all together and just fix her life after prison really was inspiring. And no one can take that from her. No one can take the fact that she got out of prison and she worked to get her baby back. And I really respect her for it. And yeah, I don't think that she deserves to go through CPS. I don't think a lot of people do. I think there are a lot of calls that are fraudulent and just people who are mad or spiteful. And I just don't think she deserves to go through that. Like it doesn't matter if she lied about her life. It doesn't mean she deserves to lose her kids. Like what kind of thinking is that? And I don't think Nicole thinks that. And I honestly don't think Tracy does either. But I think the message that they relay to subscribers can send that message. And then if you have somebody who really is just pissed, they could further that, if that makes sense. I don't think that's either of their intent. But it's like I know Tracy's intent wasn't to share her social security number, but she did. Show some mixed word. Yeah, the drug test looked like it did look like urine. Yeah, it's taken on a life. You're 100%. It's taken a life on a life of its own. Like the sheer amount of videos, the sheer amount of people speaking out. And it's like, I like a lot of these people. Like, I think they're really good people. Like, I've spoken to them on a personal level. But I don't know. I just don't think that you can make people do things. And that's all I see is just people pushing her to do something. I think she could rebuild her community if she stopped talking about it. But I do see a stark difference between drama video and just, say true crime. Like it's 20K on a drama video and then it's, 100 on a drama video. So I get it. I really, really do. Come on, Brownie. Come on, buddy. Come on. Honey, come here. Oh, you were so weird. I have so many dogs. You guys get to look at the doggies. But yeah, I just, yeah, I really do. I think she could rebuild her community if she started talking about something different and just veered away from it and just did regular content, did it on a regular schedule, and just got rid of this. I agree with this. I agree with this 100%. I've seen so many of these people in the anti KJ community, and it's scary. And I agree. I don't think Tracy or Nicole intend for her to have CPS call, period. I don't think that is the intention. And I don't think, oh, thanks, Steph. I hope you have a good night. Thanks for coming by. But yeah, I don't think that that's their intent. But I do think that's happening, unfortunately. I do. I think Nicole's heart is in the right place. I think that she wants to help people. And I think, I can't say. She may help Jessica. She may want to help Jessica. And she may, just be like, yeah, you need it. I got it. But that judgment, like, I know that kept me from getting clean for a really long time. So I do wonder that. Exactly. It's months of daily lives and it doesn't stop. And it's like, at what point, like, she isn't going to do what you want her to do. So, like, why? I just want to know what the end goal is at this point because she's not going to take accountability. She's not going to do what everybody wants her to do. And that's her prerogative. She doesn't have to. But where are where is everybody going from here? Is Nicole going back to recovery content? Is Tracy going on to, do some deep dives? Is Jessica going to do some different content? Like, where are we going? Or are we still going to stay on this train where we're just bash, 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 but we don't ever have an end goal? You know what I mean? Like, you can't have something like this and have a moving goalpost. I'll be honest with you, Tracy. Or oh my god, I'll be honest with you, Tracy. Sorry, Marissa. I'll be honest with you. Like I agree because you get a lot of sensitive information in those documents, and I see the thing is I think Tracy could do well, but I feel like she's been rushed so hard with all this Jessica Kent stuff because she is good at what she does, and her videos are interesting. But I feel like she's been rushed by her community so much that she's making these small mistakes because she's tired. And she said weeks ago she doesn't want to do this anymore. But it doesn't seem to matter. Hey Dawn, thanks for coming. No, I agree, Chelsea. I think that would be real interesting. Like I think stuff like if she did like Jimmy Hoffa and like all the kind of mysteries behind that stuff, I think it'd be really cool. 100% this. I think that there are a lot of people who have a parasocial bond, trauma bond, something, and they cannot let this go. And I do believe Jess is good at setting boundaries because I see her doing it. But I don't see anyone like agreeing with like saying, okay, your boundary. Like I just see them crossing it over and over and over again. You could be right. You could be 100% right. Dude, this is so true. This is so true. Like we have all of this stuff going on with the swoop, the Johnny, the everyone, and we're worried about a girl and whether she is sober or not. Like it just seems silly. Exactly. Parasocial relationships can be dangerous. They can be extremely dangerous because they can lead to an obsession or a perceived connection to the person, if that makes sense. Like you can perceive that you and Jessica are best friends because she comes on and she says, "Hey, I love you," but you're not best friends. And I think that that has been shown by people. I know people question it, but I believe somebody showed up to her house. That's scary as hell. I would freak out. And it's just like, it's just gone too far. And it went too far, I think, a long time ago. I just think people are starting to realize it now, if that makes sense. Oh, exactly. And like that's the thing. Like I see a lot of the girlfriend, not the gangster. I see the gangster girlfriend, if that makes sense. Like, oh, your boyfriend got drugs. You know what I mean? Like your boyfriend got rugs. He does that. Like he can get it like that, or being the connect. Like I had that relationship with my ex where I'm a good networker. I hate to say it, like it's probably from my drug addiction, but I was a good networker. So I would always get numbers. I'd always talk to people, like even when I didn't need things, just hey, how are you? So I was his connection to a lot of things, but I wasn't doing it. And I feel like that's a lot of Jess. But instead of saying, okay, I was Randy, Robbie, whoever's girlfriend, and I was the connect to the connect, she says, I was the kingpin. I was buying it. I was getting 32 fronts. And girl, I ain't never nobody that'll give you a 30K front. Like if you're doing that, you're doing good. Like you should have got out of there because I think you'll die for less. And I hate to say that, but like that to me is real questionable. So that's the parts of her stories that I find questionable. But it doesn't mean she's a terrible person. It means she embellished. Oh my god, I remember how long ago that was. I can't believe she said her neighbor did that. Just to throw it back. I cannot believe that she was like, "Oh yeah, they came in my house." Like that was crazy. Yes, there are a lot of people like connecting to her and saying, "Oh, my ex was emotionally abusive and you're emotionally abusive and you're getting your comeuppance. So I am getting what I need from that. And that is to me so toxic." Oh, I already. Exactly. Yes. Yes, Marissa. Yes. Yes. Yes, you need to back off. If you feel connect that email that Tracy read, it was good. It was sweet. It was a good email. But good night, Terry. But that person is getting something out of this situation that isn't healthy. It isn't healthy at all. It isn't healthy to feel like Jessica is getting her comeuppance, so you feel relief from your abuser. I don't feel like that's okay in any way. And I don't know. I think it's up to the creators to stop this. I really do. And it is concerning. It's very, very concerning. But I think it's up to the creators to say, hey, I care about my community. It's affecting them. I believe it's hurting them. And I don't believe that we are going to get anything out of this. I don't believe we're going to get our goal or this or that. I don't believe any of that is going to happen. So why keep punching down on it? You know what I mean? That is scary to me, Marissa, because it's like if you can't see that that is scary, are you too personally invested? You know what I mean? Do you see the same things that the email said that, you know what I mean? Like, is she seeing her abuser in Jessica? Like, there's a lot of things that Tracy has done that she hasn't found concerning that I find concerning. So I think maybe she just has a different idea of what concerning is. But I don't know where she's edited before, if she worked and was an editor, but I can't imagine if she has knowledge of YouTube that she wouldn't understand that these things would be extremely concerning and why she wouldn't black them out and why she wouldn't, you're covering a huge creator who is watching you. You better cross your T's and dot your I's. That's it. Exactly. They are all trauma bonding. It's all trauma bonding. And it's like, what happens if someone trauma bonds and then they do something stupid to someone? You know what I mean? It could be a creator, it could be their girlfriend, it could be anything. But I feel like dredging all these feelings up and just keeping them here and stewing them in a pot is making everything so much worse and so much more toxic. Yeah, she was. She was really proud of that email. She really thought that that email was like, this is why I'm doing it. And, da-da-da. And I get that. I do. She wants to help people. I totally understand. But you have to realize that that person, they're not really with it because they're seeing their abuser in Jessica, and that is dangerous. And I just think that if you're going to talk and do mental health stuff, you do need to be a little bit more educated on the topic. I think that you need to know when there's a red flag. I think that you need to understand those things, and I don't think that she does. And also, none of this is to bash or to say anybody is bad or anybody is good. This is just to say how I feel and where I've come with it, where I am at a place where I feel like it's just too much. Yeah, it is. It's putting so much on Jessica, and like it's making Tracy a savior and making Jessica like a literal villain. And there are people with mental health disorders who could truly get lost in that delusion and do something stupid. And that's what concerns me. Yeah, right? Like the weight of that is so heavy, and I do feel like Tracy is driven a lot by her community. I don't think she wants to talk about this anymore, period. But I feel like she thinks I know that she has made another video, and I don't know what the views are or whatever, but I think that she thinks if she changes, she's gonna lose viewership. Sure, you are. You're gonna lose some subs, and that sucks, and I hate that for you. But some people are only tuned in for that. And if you're gonna change and you're gonna do meaningful content, figure out what that is. And the people who like you for you, they're gonna stay. They're gonna be with you. They're gonna ride with you. They're gonna come and do things with you. I've learned that lesson, and it's like I just wish Tracy knew that about herself, knew that she had good people in her life who wanted to help her and want to see her succeed, not just want her to talk shit about Jessica. Yeah, I think that she does. I think that it's a mutual thing. I don't think it's a single out. Like I believe there is a lot of trauma bonding in the community. I don't know if they have Discord or whatever. I think they do, but I'm not sure. But I can't even think about it. Like when I was in my emotionally abusive relationship, it was all this stuff. It was physical, mental, emotional. He would move things and make me think I had lost my mind. He would, you know, at one time he literally kidnapped me. He ripped our internet out. So I couldn't get on the internet. He broke my cell phone, and I had a like a iPhone, and for some reason it was still connected to the internet. It was super weird. But I had it under my like leg, and I was gonna text my mom, call 911, and I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Found it, and he threw it, and he broke it. So it's like I don't know. I just feel like there's so many things that are not great about the situation. I think there are active victims in this situation who are trauma bonding. I believe that there are past victims like me who never got closure from their situation who are trauma bonding. And it's just not healthy. It isn't healthy. No one on the internet is your therapist, period. It does not substitute therapy. Yeah, it does. I've seen trauma bonds from the KJ community, and I don't know. But look at somebody like LB. You know what I mean? I actually don't believe L covered KJ that much. I'm trying to think of a creator who covered KJ and then switched over and did something else. I know there are tons because I watch them now, but I can't remember who started as a KJ and changed and became something else. But I believe that that's possible for both Nicole and Tracy. I think that it's shitty that Nicole can never get her monetization back. I think that's terrible. But what you think and what reality is are two different things. But I see that and I am concerned by it and I'm just kind of saddened by the turn it all took. Like it was at first it was lighthearted, but it's not anymore. And covering people you have to be emotionally. When covering people, you have to be emotionally detached to a certain extent. When I start getting too angry about someone, I usually take a break from covering them. Exactly. If you're covering someone and you can't stop yourself from yelling or getting mad, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, people are going to see that, and that's your own personal bias showing. Doing fine now. Sorry, people. Yes. Yes. And like building the audience on trauma is not healthy for anybody. Like, I feel like it is a group of survivors. And like, I hate that because it's like, I don't believe they should go anything through anything else. But I also think that they see their abuser in Jessica. And that's not healthy in any way. Like, it's not healthy for them. It's not healthy for Jess. It's not healthy for anybody. And at the end of the day, I don't want anything bad for Jessica. I don't. She has 2 children, I think under the age of 10, that she has to get up and take care of every day. That she has to make sure they're good. I don't want to take food out of their mouth. I don't want her to lose them. I don't want anything like that. And I just, yeah, trauma and drama does not mix or end well. And I feel like that's what this is. And I hope people can listen with an open mind and just take a step back, because I don't believe anybody in this situation started with bad intent. But I do believe that because of the pushback from Jess, the community pressure, that it has led to an incredibly toxic place. And you can start something with the best intentions, and it can be the highway to hell. At this point, the entire community's survival rests on continuing to prove Jess wrong on things. So it's just a situation where you almost can't be objective. I agree, because she could come out and say, like, she could do a video saying, exposing myself, and she could do 25 points of things she either lied about or, embellished or hasn't even told people they're terrible. People would pick that apart. She cannot win. Like, she can't. And I feel awful for her for that, because it's not fair. It's not right. But that was all I wanted to say tonight, guys. I just wanted to come on and kind of update, because I posted my video, and then like right after she posted the Jason video, and I was like, everybody just back off. She's cool. And then I was like, oh man, because it's all the rest video, and I was just like, it's impossible. Yeah, exactly. Like, they start going off in the comments. And that's what's crazy is like, give her a chance. Give her a chance to say her piece. You had your chance. Let her have her chance. And I just feel like nobody wants to do that. Are you serious? I had a couple comments on your page too, because I had commented in support of it, and it was like, you don't know, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, do you know? You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody has made their mind up. Everybody has decided she is a liar. She is not a good person. She is on rugs. She is terrible. And it's not going to get any better. No one is going to evaluate it fairly. You're 100% right. They're just trying to prove what they already believe. 100%. And the fact that another thing that went too far is people reaching out to people in her real life. That is never okay. If you think that it is, you are dead wrong. Don't ever go digging through somebody's like followers to find their family. That is weird. And also, like, I know that Tracy messaged people she went to high school with. What does it freaking matter if she was a mean girl? Like, what does it matter if she lied a little bit about her upbringing? Like, from what I've heard, her upbringing was traumatic. So if she was popular in high school and she says she wasn't, I don't care. If what she says happened to her as a child, her mom having a stroke and all those things, if all that is true, that girl has trauma from her childhood. Leave her alone about that. Yeah, they need her to be a liar, because if she isn't, it does not fit the narrative. She can't be their abuser if she isn't a liar and she hasn't lied about her time and lied about her stories XYZ. Like, and that's the problem. Like, I just wanted to know the truth. Like, when this started, I was like, I was invested. I wanted to know the truth, but at the same time, it just went too far. And at this point, I don't think it matters. I truly think we've come to a point with it where the truth does not matter. If you want to believe Jessica is telling the truth and her stories are real, great. If you want to believe she isn't telling the truth and that she is no good and dirty and all things, cool. But I think that the attacks just need to calm down because I don't think it's doing anything. And her clapping back on TikTok is not doing anything for her either. And I don't understand why she's doing that. Like these people are so small. Why are you even giving them credit? Yeah, it has nothing to do. It's all about honesty, but you get honesty and it's not enough. Yes, the person from her school could be lying, and the COs could be lying. You're 100% right. And like I'm dead serious. Like my dad worked in a prison, and when I saw CO stamps, talk to me terribly, degraded me, etc., I know that shit happens. Like I know it does. Like my dad went there because he wanted to help people with recovery, and that was his thing. But there were tons of COs that we knew who would come, on the 4th of July or whatever, and they were not good people. They were freaking bad. So it's a very, prison is not good. Any way you look at it, prison is not fun. I don't care if you did 8 months or 5 years, like, it ain't good in either way. I think it is messed up to lie about it. What I feel like is the worst is to lie about it and then go on places like, I forget the name of the channel, but where she did the lineup and it was like this person did this many years and they had a lineup of who was in where. To lie to that extent, to go on podcasts that aren't your own, that are big podcasts, to go on Montel Williams and lie to people's face. That is the concerning thing to me about her behavior. But am I entitled to know why, how, or when she did that? Nope. I'm sure not. Yep, exactly. And we're not doing anything for prison for reform on by punching Jessica Kent down. We're not. And with Mindy, I think Mindy could do an incredible job. She's beautiful. I think she's a great story. I think that she could do really good content, but I do think she needs some space because I just don't think that this is good right now. And I know that she's, I think, getting help right now, and that's great. I really feel good for her, and I hope that she does well. So but still, let's be real. People act like she personally victimized them by lying about her life. Yeah, they do. That's 100% correct. And you can't feel that way. You cannot invest yourself so much in these YouTube creators. I know YouTube creators. I have met several. And your fave may not be the person that they portray themselves to be. Just understand that when somebody comes on in a pre-recorded video and goes, "Hey, my babies, I love you so much. How you been?" That can be faked, 110%. And when you get to the level that Jessica is, there is some fakery going on. You don't know who a million people are. You don't know all those people. And I don't know, the parasocial bonds they're big, they're real, and they're just too much. Yeah, she's not everyone's abuser. Exactly. And that kind of trauma bonding is just making people sicker, is making people who are already sicker. And if Jessica is mentally sick, it's making her sicker. So I don't see the point in it. And I also see her bringing up constantly how people are saying, like they're defending Reese. I'm not defending Reese. I never said he didn't do what he did. I don't think anybody is. I think that she is so insecure about what's going on that she's throwing out things that could be not true to kind of be like, why is everybody asking me this? If that makes sense. Exactly. Exactly. And I don't know how all of this stuff was collected. I know that it was an effort between at least Tracy and Nicole, because Nicole has said on her channel that all of the Arkansas paperwork came from her because you can only get it if you are an Arkansas resident. So I don't know. I think at the end of the day, there are going to be people who love Jessica for Jessica, and there are going to be people who cannot forgive her for lying. And that's on her. She's taken a pay cut from this. This went on 6 months, and she's barely gotten any views. So she's taken a huge hit on her pay. So I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about it. Yes, Chelsea, YouTubers are people too. They have their own personalities. They take their shoes off, they kick back, and they do their thing. They're not entitled to be on constantly for people, and people don't get that. And I also don't understand. One thing that I had to understand was I may like you for who you act like you are, but that may not be who you are. And that was a hard lesson. And I think a lot of people are learning that through this Jessica Tim thing. I really do. And I remember when I learned that it was not an easy pill to swallow. The person I idolized in a minute was totally different. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of that going on. Oh my God, I know. She is such a snake. Slithery snake. Did you see that? Like, did you see YouTubers doing that or did you see it in the Reddit out of curiosity? Because I saw it in the Reddit. I did see it in the Reddit. I'm not going to take that out. But, like, I don't remember seeing any YouTubers specifically saying he didn't do what he did. Now, I did see Mindy's videos, but I also feel like Mindy does have a different perspective because she was in real life in her home. Are you serious? How did I miss this shit? Like I feel like I'm on top of everything, and then I hear stuff like that. And I'm like, how did I miss this? I'm not gonna lie. The steroids and cocaine did do that. You're 100% right there. But I'm not gonna lie. The stuff with Jason, if someone did that to me, if for 10 years you've been writing someone in prison, and we'd had an 8-year relationship, and we have a child, and they give me a bunch of dirty emails where you're saying, "I wish the day you were here. I don't even like him." That would make me question a lot. Like it would make me question a lot. Dang, was I didn't know that. Yeah, I see this, Chelsea, and I do have a theory on it. I almost feel like the reason people are calling her Amber Heard is because of this. Amber Heard said that she was abused, that she was a IPV survivor. Jessica has said she is an IPV survivor. Period. Interpersonal. I can't remember exactly what it stands for, but that same. And Jessica was so easy to make fun of her and make skits about her and pretend that she was her and that she was against her. So I feel like people are using that now against her. Like, how could you not realize that you were in an abusive relationship if you were making all these videos about IPV and violence and watching a trial where they talked about it in depth? Yeah, the letters are real bad. Like, I can't imagine Reese's reaction to that. That would have broken my heart. And I feel like it probably broke his. I don't think that he didn't, that it didn't. He's not made of stone. I really think it probably broke his heart. Exactly. It was up to Reese to not react in the way that he did. Period. And I do believe some of it, they worked on things. They had those videos. We broke up. We got back together. Blah blah blah. And I just think that it was something that should have ended a while ago, and it didn't. I think that they held on to it for too long because they had a kid. That happens all the time. But I think it became toxic because of that. Exactly. I think it was a messy relationship. I think there was fault on either side of the aisle. I don't think that Jessica has a point in her healing where she is ready to accept that her her part, but we can't force that on her. We can't make her see that she did anything wrong. We can't make her say, "Yep, the emails to Jason were wrong." She's not gonna say that if she's with Jason. She's not gonna say it. Period. Why would she? She doesn't like Reese. He's a dick. He's her ex. Why would she say that was wrong? You know what I mean? Like I can understand some of it. No, it doesn't give him a pass for that at all. The thing is, Jessica has proof on everything. Why doesn't she have a picture of a broken chair or like a hole in the wall where the chair hit or marks, red marks, bruises, anything? That's the one thing that I'm like so curious about. You have a video of you on the floor crying, but you don't have any evidence of what happened. And I'm not questioning. I don't, you don't have to give it to me. But you releasing that video with him yelling at you, it makes people kind of go, hey, you released all this information, but you haven't shown anything that looks like you have been harmed. You know what I mean? Hang on, sorry guys, I'm a little behind. Hey, B. Oops. Yeah, they set him up. That was not okay. That entire thing was not okay. You're right. Yep. And Jason on the phone cackling, saying, call 911. Like it was not okay in any way. That was poking to get a reaction. And that's one thing that I wonder if that happened in the relationship too. Because if you were willing to go that far to at somebody and like get a reaction out of them, what were you willing to do when they were standing in front of you? And I'm not saying she deserved it. That's not okay. But I guess the biggest question for me is how violent, like, were you in a very physically abusive relationship for a long period of time, or were you in a, toxic relationship that got abusive toward the end? Because that's what I see, and I think that's the reality. But she doesn't owe us that story. But I also feel if you don't owe us that story, but stop talking about it if you don't owe, you know what I mean? If you don't want to tell the story and you're not ready to tell it start to finish and go into detail and all those things, then don't share. Just shut it down. Share when you're ready. Share when you're healed. Yes, like how can you? How could you do that? Like how? I would be so angry. Like 10 years of being loyal to each other and writing each other and all this BS, and you took those to my man, like my baby daddy. Like seriously, I couldn't have forgive that, and I don't know how she did. But that's her. That is her prerogative, and that's the one thing I don't see anybody giving her is her prerogative. I do see Jessica's point on this. If Reese was in active relapse and in harm's way, I wouldn't call the cops. There were points in my life where I wanted to call 911 but couldn't due to drugs. Yes, I've been in the same situation. I have. I I've been in this situation over guns because my ex was a felon and he wasn't supposed to have weapons and he would keep guns in our attic, and I would always think like when I was doing stuff to me, I would always think, if I call 911, am I going to go to jail for those guns? Like, that's sad. You should not have to worry about that. You should be able to call 911, no questions asked, and say, hey, I am being harmed. And no matter what, the cops should come help you. Period. That's just what I believe. But it's not always the cut and dry. Exactly. Exactly. Like, what the especially like he was in prison. Like there was no physical anything like that. Like that is so spiteful of Jason. Period. That was him saying to Reese, I'm better than you. Look, she's always wanted me. And I cannot imagine the hit that would take to your ego. I did see that she did say that she admitted it, but then I saw her make another video where she was like, he's not as bad as everybody thinks. So I was very confused by all of that. She is shady. I can't deny that. She is shady. Exactly. I think that they need to figure out co-parenting and go forward. I feel like there's a lot of toxicity right now. I think that there's a lot of back and forth. I'm calling CPS on you. Oh, I'm getting a protected order on you. Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. You can't see the kids. You can't see the kids. I think there's so much of that going on right now that the point is being lost. Those children need both of them. Period. Micah has been with him for so long. She believes that's her dad. And it's just sad to me because the girls are suffering. It doesn't matter if you got a replacement dad. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you got a new boyfriend. You're like, oh, this is daddy now. No, like they've been, those are his girls. And I think the best thing that they could do in this situation is co parent and let it go. Exactly. They get so personally involved. It's like they're living that person's life. And it's like, no, you're not. She had Reese coming and going at that point. She didn't need to check in on him. If you listen closely, she had him around calling him during the time that she was so afraid. Yeah, that was something that I did question because there were texts that came out and all that stuff, and it's like she was talking crap to him, and it's like if he abused you, like why are you so bold? And I so much that just doesn't align. But I can't question someone's story like that. Like If what happened to her and I questioned it, I would feel so terrible. So I just can't. But I do think it's fishy. And I think that she could have saved herself so much by not sharing this with the internet. She could have simply made a short and said, listen, Bruce and I have decided to take a break. I know that he comes on my channel and I know you guys like him, but right now I'd really appreciate it if no one asks me any questions. We're going to work things out. We're going to co parent. We're going to get things figured out. But I'm going through a really hard time. I'm moving into a new home. Just please leave me alone. Please don't bring up Reese. I believe people would have left it alone, but she posted about it and she talked about it. So it made it commentary. And it's not something that should be commentary at all. B. Do you, real question, B, do you think she should be deplatformed? That was the question that I've had this entire stream. What is the goal? Do you want accountability? Do you want an apology? Or do you want deplatforming? Like what is the goal from creators who are making videos on Jessica? Like, and that's not personal. I'm just asking, your opinion. Like, what do you think? Do you think that it's at a point where everyone wants her deplatformed? Yeah, I do too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that what's good, I've always, my mom, we're from the South, we say weird things, but my mom always says, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And that means what's good for a woman is good for the man, right? I think that they both could complete a program. It doesn't even have to be a drug. Well, for Reese, I think that he needs rehab, but Jessica could just go through mental health. But I really do believe that they both need a program that would teach them how to co parent and not be toxic and not want to, you know, end each other. Exactly. Like that's the hard thing. Like those girls, that is their dad. He is. And all these guys coming and going. And like that guy that has the charges, Chris, like that's not safe, baby girl. Like I don't know why she thinks that's a good idea and why she's so okay with him being around the kids. It's obvious he is around because he was around when Jason got arrested. So he's admitted to abusing his own children and is convicted of it. Like I just don't get it. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Yes. Yes, exactly, Marissa. She doesn't need a man. Like, and I doubt she'll watch this, but if you do, just because you're good. Like, honey, you are good. You got it. You got a good career. You have beautiful babies. Focus on yourself. You don't need a man. If you need some kind of physical connection, write Jason. Write him. But try to live your life as yourself without any man and see how it goes. See how much you like life. Like I realize there are so many things that I like to do alone. And I don't know, it's just gotten to a point where I don't think Jessica knows how to be alone. There was Randy, there was Reese, there was Jason. And it's like she's always I'm sorry, Randy, baby daddy, Reese, Jason. There's always been a boyfriend. And you got to learn how to do it on your own. And it's really freaking hard. It is. Like, I learned to do it on my own while my ex was in jail because I had to get the house. I had to get a new car. I had to do this. I had to do that. I had to go pick him up. I had to send him money and put money on his books. And it's like, that's the thing that, like, stresses me out and makes me think about it. Like, it just, ugh, is that while I was with my ex, God, I bet I saved him 5 grand. It's not cheap. It's not cheap for anything. It's like $300 for a TV. It's like, two or $300 for a tablet. And then there's the weekly phone calls that are about $50. And then there's the weekly text messages. There's another $50. And then there's, they're hungry because they don't feed them enough. So there's commissary. And it's like there's just so much that goes into it. And it's just like it's a money pit. And I really believe my ex was gonna go in and come out reformed. Girl, bye. Like he didn't come out reformed. I should have gotten that house and lived in it myself and never ever ever messed with him. Like literally there was a point where I was pregnant and it was in that house and he had abused me. And I went back. We were moving out and I went back and I was just crying in the bathtub, like crying because I was losing our child. And I called him and I asked him to be with me, like just come be with me, just hang out with me. This is happening. It's horrible. And he wouldn't. He wouldn't. And that told me all I needed to know. Like that was a traumatic thing for me. And I remember it was just so awful. Like just the realization that he did not give a shit if I lived, died, anything. He didn't care about anyone but himself. And that was after his prison bid, after I had gotten us a home, car, everything that I worked so hard for. And I remember after all this happened, like 3 days later, I called my mom and I was just like, I failed. Like, I had this dream for my life and I have failed. And it was the worst feeling I ever had because I worked so hard for that to come to be good and to be the perfect relationship. I even made it the perfect relationship. I am guilty of making the perfect Facebook relationship, whatever you want to call it. And it wasn't. It was terrible. And I hyped him up to all my friends. It was a bad time. It really was. And it's hard to get out of. It really is. And I just hope that there, if she's with Jason, I hope there's no abuse between them. Period. Let's see what this is. There are always ways to keep them safe with supervision, and Jason raked badly too. I get fit, but I she didn't take the dad for the same reasons. Yes, exactly. There are visitation centers where he could see them for like it wouldn't be long. Like he could go to a visitation center, say twice a week, and see them for an hour. And then if they see you're doing good after like a month, they'll let you have maybe an overnight, and then you'll do another one at the visitation center, and they will help you transition into how you need to be a single parent. In fairness, though, she shared so much overly personal crap. I don't think she realized this would be the thing that would set it all off. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. But I will say this. She made everybody love Reese, and I've done that with a person. When you make everybody love them, unfortunately, when their mask slips and you see who they are, you've already hyped them up to other people. Other people already think they're great. And it's just not a smart move. And I don't know any other way to say it. I learned that a long time ago. You can't lie on the Facebooks and say, oh, everything's so great. Look at us commenting to each other. Look at us pictures. Pictures don't mean shit. Like, pictures don't fix your busted lip. They don't fix a broken rib. They don't do anything. They don't comfort you when you're cold. They won't hold you when you're sad. Nothing. Okay, so B, you think she should be deplatformed. Why? For lying or for oh wait, okay, damn. Okay, wait, I think okay, B. So if you think she's okay, you don't believe she should be deplatformed. I read that wrong. I also don't believe she should be deplatformed. Like lies, it's not worth it. I get that B, but I think she doesn't see herself as irresponsible and she feels she can't control it. Yes, I think she is a control freak. I think that is the biggest thing for her. And I've seen this before and I'm seeing in this situation, but because I am not in it and I am not physically in it, I can't put eyes on it. So I don't know this for a fact. I've seen plenty of women who withhold children from men who really want them because that is their ace. That is their play card and they use it anytime they need it. When I heard on Patreon, Jessica does not plan on sharing her abuse story. Good. I don't know how to feel about that. When she feel share stories with the letter on. I agree. I think that she shouldn't share the story right now. I do not believe it's the time. I believe the time will come. I don't believe she is even healed enough to tell the story yet. Can't, Melissa. I stayed a single mom for like 8 years, and I did date. And if I did date or do anything, my oldest was with my mom. I hated all my mom's boyfriends in and out constantly, and I just won't do that. I agree. I agree 100%. My parents were married my whole life. So unfortunately, I didn't have to deal with that, but I did deal with it with my grandma, which is crazy. But she constantly had men in and out, and she did when my mom was young, and it really affected my mother in a negative way, and I could see it. So I'm very lucky that my parents stayed married, but I've seen it happen with my friends, and I've seen it happen like with my grandma. So it's not good for the kids. Yeah, I don't think Jessica's a horrible mother. I think that I can see some of like the like her. maybe using the kids as a bargaining chip, but I don't think she's horrible. I agree. This is sort of a lesson I don't think Jessica will learn though until she's ready to. I agree 100%. I think that Jessica needs to do some work. She needs to heal. And I think when she does, she'll learn a lesson from this. Unfortunately, I believe this is going to affect her forever. And I hate to say that, but this is her job. And unfortunately, a lot of people believe she's a liar now. I don't know how her numbers haven't slipped below a million. That isn't unreal to me. But unless she's botting it, like fake botting it. But I don't know. It's a sad, sad situation. Like there are a lot of lives affected in all of this. And I'm going to say something that Tira was talking about. She's talking about their shirt that she wore, that gang related shirt. You shouldn't be wearing that, girl. Like the wrong person could see you wearing that, and they could roll up on you, and not roll up in the way where they're like, "Knock, knock, can I be on your podcast?" Like those are dangerous things, and there's so much risky behavior going on. It's a lot. It's a lot. There are lots of opinions I might have on Jessica's choices as a mom, but I don't need to publicly share them all. Exactly, because at the end of the day, we don't always do everything right, like as mothers. No one does. But this whole nitpicking mothers, I don't think is right. Oops. Chelsea, I believe she's French. Chelsea, I believe. Oh, sorry, I'll put it on screen. Chelsea, I believe she has every right to share her story. I just believe she should wait until a few things have happened. She needs to heal. She needs to Yes, she needs to settle custody. She does not need to be talking about this while she's in court. It is so blatantly stupid to be talking about this when you are in a custody case. Mm, custody case. Like it's insanely stupid. They will use all of this against you, and I can't really understand that part of all of it because I'm like, this can be used against you. Why would you do it? It doesn't make sense to me because to me, my baby is the most important thing. Period. If my husband and I were to get a divorce, like my focus would be, okay, what do I need to do to keep, you know, my baby? And I just don't see that in this. I see a lot of revenge. And to me, that's sad. Do not deplatform. Okay, Chelsea, you're conflicted about it. So, Chelsea, you think that she should be deplatformed, or you believe that she should just change up her content and move on? Or do you believe that she needs to apologize and address everything? Yeah, that is really annoying. No, I'll have to check that out. I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to check it out. I haven't been on in a while. Tira, are you asking if Tira was in one? She says that she is. She said that she was affiliated for a very long time. And with Jessica, what it looks like she's doing is she's trying to make it look like she's wearing Jason's shirt, but I got what Tira was putting down. Like she's saying that's a custom made shirt. You had that made, and it's not Jason's. He isn't a large. It's just a little bit big on you. If you're in Jason's shirt, you'd be swimming in it. So I totally got that. Like that shirt was made by Jessica for Jessica, if that makes sense. And Chicago gang life, like that is scary. That is where gangs are. So I wouldn't be rolling out in that. So, I mean, it's personal choices, but at the same time, it's like, mm, yes, that is what I understood too. Chelsea. Honestly, don't think she is botting her channel. See, Avalanche. Yeah, she just said that she gets most of her views from her shorts. So that could totally be it. Yeah, that's funny, Melissa. It's funny to me that she has more subscribers than say Wildflower, but Jessica never reached out to Brit, I don't think. Okay. Yes, Jessica is not out of it. Jessica, I don't know, is in it. I don't believe is in it. And Basically, what Tira was calling her out for is called false flagging. It's when you wear or you have a gang related tattoo and you are not in that gang. You've not done the work to be in that gang. You haven't done what they require of you to be in it, but you're wearing the shirt like you are. And I agree with Tira, that's not right. And if you're in the wrong neighborhood wearing that shirt, you're gonna get it ripped off of you. Like Tira was right. Somebody will put hands on you over that shirt. So the way she's moving with the gang stuff, like it is one thing to be a girlfriend of a gang member, but it is another to be in the gang. And I don't know. I don't see any of that going good. I think she needs to get rid of the shirt. That's just where I am about it. I am too. I think that her sharing the abuse story, I just don't think it's the right time. I think that she needs to heal first. And then, do what you'd like. Yes, from what I understand, the shirt is the company that Jason is affiliated with. But still, Jessica isn't affiliated with them. So if they come up and they say, "Hey, where'd you get that shirt? Who's your, I think sometimes they call him the big homie. Like, who is that?" She's gonna be like, "I don't know," and then what happens? You know what I mean? Okay, let's see. Yes, this is 100% true. She has 1 foot in and 1 foot out of that life and can't fully give it up. And it is so hard to give up. You can be addicted to the lifestyle. You can be addicted to the rush and the change and the constant running. Like, I can't really explain it, but like, it can be very addicting. Very, very addicting. And I feel that Jessica is more addicted to the lifestyle than she was, or is now, the drugs. I don't think it's about drugs. I think it was about the lifestyle. I just think that she's addicted to that. Yes, yes, V. She has two girls to think about before street cred. What happens if you're walking down the shirt wearing or street wearing that shirt? You get the hell beat out of you in front of your kids because these people aren't going to care. They do crimes. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like some good buddy organization. Like so, yeah. Her kids are more important than her street cred, and her name rings bells in the street. Like that's the part that gets me. She was feeding into it with some of those texts, but I don't think she thought any of that stuff would get leaked. I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah, she does. She wants to be not that bad bitch. She just wants to be that bitch, like the bitch. Like she's the one that we go to for everything, and it's like I don't know. I question it so much, and I don't want to question somebody's story, but I have to question whether you were the one out making deals. You know what I mean? Like, not the deals with like hand to hands or like cars or stuff like that. Like, I'm thinking more like you really got a $30,000 front. You really got pistol whipped. Like, those are serious, serious stories. Hey, Chicago. But yeah, like those are serious stories to tell, and I just question them. I really do. Oops, Chelsea. Yep. Hmm. I wonder if she wore it just for the live stream, just to say, "Hey, Jason, this is Jason's." I don't know. A lot of this shit is subliminal, and we're supposed to be picking up these messages, and I'm just like, can somebody just do a TLDR? Because I don't really care to watch all that. I mean, I do. I think that if she wears that shirt out and gets caught by the wrong people, it could go left real fast. Scramblers is your life and loves Jason is still connected. She thinks he's a protector. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what are you going to do now that he's gone? And maybe you've made connections with people who aren't good people. And people in that life, you're going to get a knock at the door and be like, "Hey, I need to hide these guns." Or, "Hey, I need to hide these, what's. I need to hide whatever horrible thing that could get me in trouble." Like, that's what they use girlfriends for sometimes. Like, I've seen that happen myself. And I don't know. It could end badly. It really could. It could end badly, and Jessica could do very little to add to it, and it could still end badly. Exactly. I don't understand this, Marissa. I do not get this. She acts like so submissive. And it's like, but you talk all the time about how you were the queen bee and how you were over everybody and the men answered to you, but you act so submissive to them in person. And it makes no sense. I'm dead, B. That's funny. Out of curiosity, do you know anything about the shirt or like what it is, Chicago? Just out of curiosity. I would assume so. You're basically advertising for a gang. You know what I mean? So I would assume so. I would assume that it would be against TOS, like in promoting things that are illegal. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna grab a drink. I'll be right back. Okay. In my opinion, Jessica acts that way around men as a manipulation tactic. Those men like that, and she is very. That's very true. I've met a lot of women who know exactly what to do around certain men to make them do their bidding. So that could totally be it. V. Oh god. I my question was the who she's affiliated with, or the shirt that she had on. Is that like a big organization? Is that somebody who can catch her walking down the street, or is it a small one? Yes, this. She's very good at picking up on the emotion of others and seeing what it is they want. And I also think that money is a big deal to her, and I understand, girl. I get it. Like I grew up dirt ass poor. I didn't have anything, and I can tell with her that money means a lot. And I feel like there's a lot of money exchanges that she does to earn trust. And I think she did that with JD. I mean, she gave him her credit card number to book his Airbnb or whatever when he was staying in Chicago. I just think that I think that she does. I think she uses money to kind of make a relationship with people. Main thing I wonder because I saw that shirt too. That girl and her BF, they aren't no, they aren't. Is that no? I remember though. Jason said that he grew up like with a Hispanic, like around Hispanic gangs or something, and that's how he got in. But I heard somebody talking, and they were saying that basically, if he had gotten into that gang, he wouldn't be anything more than like a crash test dummy because he's not Hispanic. Oh, it is. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't think she's thinking about like being out in public and her kids being with her and somebody taking that shit real seriously. She got that pussy magic. I hate that word so much. Dang, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, it's just crazy that she would wear it. Like, how dumb are you? How dumb are you? Like, I'm sorry. It's just, it's not smart. That is crazy. I don't understand the obsession with being gang affiliated a drug dealer, like a kingpin. Like, I don't get the obsession with that. Like, girl, you've succeeded at YouTube. That's something that a very small fraction of people do. Like, can't that be what you're happy about? Can that be your thing? Or I don't know. Maybe she. Holy shit, Marissa. Oh my god. I'm fucking dead. Oh my god. Oh my god. They sponsored her for a day. Yep, Aurora, from what I've heard. She was complaining about her safety being doxxed on YouTube. Heads out. And also, stop sharing your stuff. I know that she lives in Aurora because of stuff she shared. Like, not from stuff Tracy shared, stuff she said. Yes, me too, Chicago girl. You gotta tell us. Go to the Trader Joe's on Wednesday. You might be able to catch her. Oh my god. She's gonna have a rotating sponsorship. That's hilarious. Boys, hush. I'm just laughing. If you want to come sit with me, you can. You want to come sit with me? Come on, meaty. Come on, meats. Okay, bye-bye. Oh my god, this chat is hilarious. It's like all the things I think in my head, but I don't say out loud. Well, guys, it is late, and I have had a great time. This was a great live. I'm really happy everybody came. Honestly, Chicago, I think that that would fall under the like. I think it's like something like dangerous, and I'll have to look at it. But I think that there's actually something that you can report, like a video, and it would do something because it's basically promoting dangerous activities. It's like smoking on camera. You can't vape on YouTube. I don't think you can vape on YouTube, but like it would be like that, but a higher level maybe. Oh my god, is she giving the affiliate link correctly? This is great. Oh my god. Oh my god. She sold like 5 million magazines and she was like Queen Bee, Martha. So you don't know about her recruiting skills. They're amazing. I used to sell Cutco knives. I could recruit. Oh my god, I'm freaking. Yeah, I think she was being slick with that. I really think she was trying to be slick with that. But why are you trying to throw your nose up to cops or be cool to gangs? Like that's the thing that doesn't get I don't get. Either you are trying to thumb your nose at the cops or you are trying to show gangs you're loyal. It doesn't make any sense. FOIA is legal because the American people are basically allowed to look up anything that they would like within reason, and you're supposed to have you're supposed to basically not use it to harm people. You're supposed to use it to learn about court cases, or like say someone you knew was in an accident and you didn't know what happened and you really wanted to know what happened. You could request body cam footage. Could request the report. But I feel like it being used this way is extremely harmful because for people like me in the true crime community who use it constantly to look up cases and use the background information, like they could cut that off. They could be more stringent about law. They can make it where you have to I don't have to give a reason when I put in it for you. Like that's the thing, you don't have to tell them what you need it for. It's usually like You just say, okay, hi, my name is, I would like to request the documents on such and such. And do you have body cam? Do you have 911 calls? Do you have documents? And then they'll come back and they'll tell you if you're approved for it. And then everything is separate. The documents cost, the video cost, the 911 calls cost. So it's like, it's a money racket. Like, I was doing a case once and I was going to do a FOIA. It was like $65. It was like out of Arizona and it wasn't a big case. It was very small. It was like two 911 calls, like one set of body cam footage and some documents. It wasn't much. Yes, this Melissa. Yes, it's legal and it should be to keep government accountable and it should be allowed to be used for things like documentaries, things like that, but it should not be to harass private citizens. I don't believe you should be able to look up people's record just to look up their record. Yeah, I think it's being misused. As someone who uses it, I believe it's being misused. And that's what scares me, Chelsea, because like for what I do, it's great. It's really helpful. But it's that saying, one bad apple can ruin it for the bunch. It's true. Like they could become a lot more stringent and they can make it a lot harder to get case information for people who are doing things to help. And that sucks. Yeah. So the crazy people have figured out they can use it to make their enemies feel shame. That's the part I don't like. I hate shame. I've always dealt with like internal shame and like downing myself. And I feel like that's what's going on here. Like I feel like she's being shamed into doing what other people want her to do. And that's not fair. That's not right and it's not fair. Right, Chicago? Like why? And why even tell that? Like I get it that you don't like her, but like that's sad. Like that didn't make me feel like, oh, she's been horrible since she was a kid. I feel like, God, that's really freaking sad. Like you did have a hard upbringing. And that's the thing. It's almost like they're going full circle and they're actually proving things. They're proving that she did have a hard upbringing. So it's very contradictory. It is an issue. I agree. Exactly. It should be a chargeable offense. Using someone's criminal record to traumatize them, to like going over their birth story. Like my birth story changed my life. I became a totally different person that day. And I do believe that Jessica did too. I believe she loves those babies. But I don't know. I don't think it was ever meant to go this far, and I don't know why it did. And I do. I think it should be a chargeable offense. I think it should be like when see, this is crazy because in my state they don't do it, but like I feel like when someone calls CPS, if they false report and that is found unfounded and it is found to be a false report, you should go to jail. Like I think you should do a day in jail, a ticket, something to deter you from doing that again. But in the state I live in, you can call as many times as you want with as many lies as you want, and they'll just investigate them. So I can understand Jessica's frustration if that's the case in her state, but I don't know, man. It's crazy. It should be a chargeable offense. What's this? Get public universities technically before your request. So professors in particular specialties have been harassed and had their emails with students' request for petty academic squabbles. Yeah, that's stupid. Like, I don't believe that you should be able to get FOIA requests on. I don't know. Because I was gonna say on anyone who's still alive, but at the same time, I do stories where the killers are still alive. So it's like, man, it's really, really hard. Yeah, academia is like high school. Chelsea, that's funny. Me too. I didn't know about all this. Marissa. Oh my god, just sitting there like Tracy, Cole. Wait, Mindy. Fucking dead. Oh my god. Yes, this is so true. This is so true. COVID has completely affected everyone's like social skills. It's so funny, especially like if you're decent at having conversations or whatnot. You'll start talking to somebody and you can tell they don't even know what the hell to do. Like they're just confused. I mean, you could like you could petition for an amendment to the FOIA laws, but that's a federal law, so that would be real hard to get a change in it. But if it is being misused in academia, then I can see it being misused for politics as well. So, I mean, I feel like it's just going to be a chain effect. But if you've noticed, FOIAs weren't big. I never did a FOIA until like 2 years ago. So it's like it hasn't been a big thing for a long time. And I know I used to get contracted just to do FOIAs because people didn't know how to do it. But now it's like everybody knows how to do it. And not only that, but Tracy's teaching people how to do it. And it's something that's like it's a specialized skill that should be because you need to have morality with it. You need to have a respect with it. You need to say, okay, these are someone's, papers of their demise, of what happened to them, of the terrible thing that took them out of this earth. And you have to have some decorum. Like I have done stories on people who have been ended in horrific ways. And you have to be creative in how you word that because if their mother comes across that video, do you really want them to feel bad? Do you really want them to hurt? No, you don't. And playing fast and loose with FOIA just isn't going to get anybody anywhere. I agree. I agree that it should be regulated. I believe that it should be for specific things. It should be for, are you looking this up for like crime that's on the news? Because I believe that we should be able to check crime against what's being reported because it's been proven in the past that the media will lie to you. But just a random person who isn't doing anything, like it's nothing, do you see what I'm saying? Like there's no reason for you to be requesting it. Like I don't think that should be fair or allowed. And also, I know FOIA can turn you down, and I'm surprised that Tracy did not get turned down more. Right? Just telling us, just one day we got aliens, y'all. Okay, that's cool. Oops. Okay, I'm good. Yeah, they need to redact more. Actually, on I do believe that they need to redact more on the FOIAs that they're giving out because I am shocked at the level of info that Tracy got. But on the other hand, I'm not because those are all. That's probably the first time those FOIAs have been requested ever by anybody. So when you get heavily redacted FOIAs, that's because they've been requested before. Somebody already went through the highlighter and blacked all that shit out, and they made copies and done all the things. Or if you go to LA or New York or some like really on it state, like they will give you a FOIA that is redacted correctly. But this is Arkansas and New York, like small town New York. Like they've never given that out before, and I just think they accidentally gave Tracy stuff that they weren't supposed to do. I'm blind. You guys are funny. Oh, where they go? Okay, let's see. I think there are a lot of things that haven't caught up yet. I agree. I don't. Unfortunately, I feel like social media is going to become a problem, and if if politics were to get a hold of social media, do you have any idea how stifled we would be? How stifled our free speech would be? Our freedom of anything would be? Because they've already got the news. The news cycle is already manipulated. So mostly, I get my news from here because I can trust it more. And if the government had anything to do with that, that wouldn't be the case. So that's the one thing I don't want to happen for sure. my God. Whew. Melissa, you were dropping gems tonight. You just like. Okay, I'm slow. I don't know. I have no idea. I agree. I agree. If you're gonna post Jessica's, post yours. Don't just talk about it. You said you had like 18 or 36 robberies. I can't remember. It sounded so interesting. I was like, tell your story, girl. I'm down. I'll listen. Like that's the thing. You don't have to attack people to like do well. Like I know that most of you guys know my free drama, but like I waited to start my stuff because I didn't want that to be associated with me anymore because I wanted a fresh start. I did not want drama. And it's like there are people who start their channels based off these dramas. So it's crazy to me because I really did not want that. I really just wanted what I have now. And to me it's crazy to be that good at what you do and that talented and squander it because you have a personal vendetta. And I'm not saying Tracy's doing that. I'm just saying I feel like that's the way it goes. Oh, really? It's interesting. Here's B. What'd she say? Oh, yeah. Yes, Jessica never gave out her maiden name, and it was wrong that they did. That was doxing to me. Okay. Chelsea, I agree with what you say about FOIA. Maybe law should be updated in a way to counteract what Tracy does in very specific ways. But I have apples right in my bunch before. Yeah, I agree. And I think that there should be some stipulations because it is super invasive to just a normal person's daily life. I really think the first person that gave out her last name was Nicole because I heard it first on one of her streams. She was like, "Oh, it rhymes with my name," and I was like, "Now she's easy to find." You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things where it's like we've seen her pictures from middle school. Like, come on, it's too much. Exactly. Yes, it's none of your damn business. Maybe she likes it. Maybe she doesn't like her name. I don't like my last name. Like I like my married last name. I don't like my regular last name. No, she had never put out her maiden name. She'd always went by Kent, and then either Nicole or Tracy. I think Nicole because I heard it on her live stream. That's just me, word of mouth. Um, said her real name, and it's been released on tons of paperwork that Tracy is released. Tracy, I don't know if you know this, Chicago, but Tracy made an entire website dedicated to Jessica's past and her history, and she has all of her arrests and stuff like that uploaded on it, and it's a very well done website. But it's just one of those things where you're like, okay, but I think though it's brought up some really good points about FOIA. I think that FOIA can be used to ruin people's lives, and that's not right. And there should be some amendments. Yes, Chicago is bad. It is bad. I guess to give everyone the gossip, I don't really know. I don't know why she's doing all this. To be honest with you, I don't. Like, I guess maybe to have somewhere to put all the documents so people would stop asking for them, but like they didn't have to do it. Oh my God, Melissa, I think I know who you're talking about. Wish app EKC. I actually think I know who you're talking about. I want to switch my name, but all my business and education are in my career. Is that going to cost money? No, I feel you, girl. I don't, my last name is not my last name. I use my husband's, like when I go anywhere or talk to people, but I haven't went and changed it. We've been married. Our 8th anniversary was June. I really need to get my name changed. Yeah, she put files while she was a minor, and then that stream was taken down, and she apologized. I think she apologized. I'm not sure, But she got super defensive on there with someone who was like, this isn't right. And that was when she freaked out. Come on, Bob. No, it wasn't. She was into it. Yeah, I agree. Like, she could have put those in a Google Doc and put the link somewhere, but she made an entire website. And I think she made it because she intends to do more stuff, but this is such a bad look. And I don't think she intended for it to be. And it took a sharp turn. Like, let's just to be clear, like, before that live stream, I was still on the train that Jessica was not that great. But after that live stream and seeing like the level they were going to and kind of stepping back and looking at it, I was just like, I don't know about this. This doesn't feel right. And that's kind of when I decided I was like, I'm gonna make another video, but I'm done after that. Like, I don't have any more. Yeah, she teases things. Like that's one thing I don't like. This isn't something to tease. Like, it really isn't. This is a real person. Like, Jessica isn't some doll. Like, she is a real person with real feelings. Is it? See, I thought it was branded like Seeking Truth or something like that. Like, I thought that was the website, was like Seeking Truth with Tracy or something. Yes, it gets to your head, and you can't separate it anymore. And I feel like that is going on. I feel like there is a lot of hmm. I can't separate this. I can't go this way. I can't go this way. Like, I feel like she feels stuck in the Jessica Kit situation because so many of her subscribers are there for that. And the thing is, you can make your channel about something and you can do that, but you can't make your channel about someone. At some point, you have to stop talking about it. And that's where she is. And I know she's afraid of losing subs, but I'm sure that some people will stick around. And if you do good work, people will come. Like, that's just the reality of it. Yeah, she asked her just to email them to her. I don't understand her making them available to everybody. I thought that was a really shitty move, and that was a really crappy use of the voice system. Very crappy. Yep. They have posted her parents' addresses because they weren't redacted. And Jessica reached out to Tracy, and Tracy, I think, took that piece out of the video or took the video down or edited it and redacted it, something like that. Oh my God. See, I haven't looked at it. I didn't think about it. See, I thought it was just like Seeking Truth or something, and I figured it was branded under her and just had like a link. I needed to look at it, but man, it's just so far. Like, I just don't know why it has to go so far. Like, it's just too much. It really is. I don't get it at all. And I truly feel like Jessica can do so much more. I think she is a very talented girl. I think that Tracy is a very talented girl. I think that Nicole is a very talented girl. Mindy is a beautiful woman. I think she would do amazing things. I think all these women can. But this is not the way. Exactly. They can find more info if they have your info. And it's like she doxed full names, addresses, these things. It's like that matters. It really does. I hope that this is a learning lesson for everybody, to be honest. Like, a learning lesson for everyone, not just in this situation, but on YouTube, that this isn't the way to use FOIA. You don't expose people through their private records. Like, you don't do that. Like, the thing is, with FOIA, everything costs everything. So Tracy couldn't get any of this for free. She's had to pay. So people are paying for these things. And that's where it gets to be a very gray area for me. Because I don't care enough about you to pay $40 for your criminal record. I can tell you that right now. Like, I just don't. I don't care about nobody on the internet enough to pay to see their criminal record. Just how I feel. But Tracy has gone to multiple spots picking stuff up. So it's like, this has got to have racked up. Like, I think she said she made $200 on her YouTube like the first month or whatever, and she used it to update things. What was your loss and your reward that month? Like, how much did you spend on the documents versus what you made? Yeah, she does. And I like Tracy. I think she's sweet, but it was very telling how she went after that thing. It was very telling. She made too many mistakes for her to excuse that anymore. She has been too careless repeatedly. I just think she is not that concerned, and that's scary. Yep, I agree. I don't think she thinks. I don't think she understands what she's doing is wrong. I think that she thinks she is like uh, a whistleblower, and that is not the case. Jessica Chant is not somebody you whistleblow on. You know what I mean? She's a YouTuber. Yeah, see, and if she gets all those requests, every single one of them is going to cost you. We're talking like it could be anywhere from $20 to $200, depending on how much information they have, and also how much digging they do. What they do is they take, like for mine, what they did, it was like 3.5 hours of work, and they charged me for the detective's work. So it was like $32.50 an hour for 3.5 hours. So that's what they do. So I can't imagine these are old records, meaning they have to go dig them out and then they have to redact because they are redacting on them. So I'm assuming these are probably 5 or 6 hour jobs that she's paying for. And that's not how every state works. Some states work on a system where the documents are 25 cents, body cam is a certain price, other things are a certain price. But I don't know, man. It's just a lot. And it's not the right way to use FOIA, and it's just very careless. She also brags about her trucks and says it's not for money, but makes a Patreon charges people $1 for shit. I agree. And it's like, you can't say it's not about money and then kind of make it about money. You know what I mean? Like you're showing off your house and your car and all those things. And that's great. I get that you're doing that to give Jessica a big FU. I get it. But there are people out there that don't have all that. And there are people who haven't gotten to that point. And it came off braggy. And I don't think she's understanding how she's coming off to certain people. I think that her spite and her hate has taken over, and she needs to back off because it's just become too much. I didn't know you could post things for free. Huh. I didn't know that. Ooh, Melissa. I'm curious. I'm curious about that. I ain't gonna lie. But thank you guys. Ugh, I'm so tired. I got up so early this morning, but I am so happy that we were able to have this chat, and it was a really good one. I am going to be on here tomorrow with my friend's daughter. She's a psychic, and I'm so excited. She's so sweet. We're going to be doing like a paranormal story time, talking about like our scary. I'm going to be talking about like probably my haunted house story or something else, and she's going to be telling like her scariest story that's happened during a reading. So really excited. What? Exactly. Just say hey. Oops, sorry. Just say hey. I need to make money off of this. Like I'm putting a lot of time in my content. I'm putting so much time in my content I can't work. So I'm making a Patreon because I could use the money, or stick your Cash App in. Like I have mine. Like if somebody wants to give you something, they're gonna give it freely. If somebody wants to help you out, they're going to. They're gonna find a way. But pushing it is a little much. Now I think Jessica pushes hers too. I mean, it's $2. Only if we're gonna be $2. Like come on. And like I thought that was shitty that Tracy has kind of adapted that, because why are you making fun of it? It doesn't even make sense. But all right, you guys, I am going to hop off. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And tomorrow we're going to be live about the same time. Um, I'll update you guys on Instagram, and I am trying to figure out how to get my community tab unlocked. If anybody knows how or knows like what I can do to unlock that thing, please DM me because I have no idea. I know, like that's the thing, Marissa. I have seen some of your videos where you were going off, and you were not going off in this one. So the fact that you got threatened is really, really over the top. Good night, Melissa. Good night, everybody. I had such a great time, and I'll see you tomorrow.